go live. Then it says preparing live stream. And then once it's basically at the live stream portion, then the YouTube page pops up. And then you'll have like a link. You just copy it, you paste it. Simple, easy.
You would hit, go live with YouTube. There's another one comes up. I remember there's like a white page. And then you go to YouTube and you can just kind of share that page.
Live stream. And once it's basically can you hear me on the other? Can you hear the video that I just talked? And then you'll have like a link. You just copy.
Cool.
You paste it.
So you want to do the intro as we go, sort of? Start it out?
Yeah. I'm just posting the link real quick.
Daylight, bro. It's amazing out there, man. It's kind of cold, but it's not that bad though.
I know it's almost what is it, 7:30, and it's still light. It's not even gonna get dark till like 8 o'clock, man. And then pretty soon it'll be 9.
Good iced tea. Yeah, you'll be dark in a little bit, but it's still nice. It's like 7:25 right now.
All right. Posting 1. Posting 2. All right. So the links are posted, and we don't have a manual intro, so I'm just gonna start it off here. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, your home for personal development tips, sports news, music, and more. You're back with another episode, another video. Let's get at it. It's episode 30 of the podcast. You're now in tune. And this week, it's just the two main founders, the two regular every single week hosts. Mm-hmm. My name is Steve Ushler, and joined alongside me on the other side, he's the other half of the Locked In Podcast, yep. George. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How you going?
I'm doing well tonight. So yeah, like I said, guys, it's just the two main founders tonight. No outside guests for this one, as you saw in some of our promotions. It's no big deal. It's actually going to be a little bit of something different for the first time in this episode. It's the Big 3-0. So for this episode, we are going to kind of cover news across multiple different outlets tonight, which will include music. More specifically with music, we're probably going to touch more on the life and death of DMX. As we know, DMX just tragically passed away. It was linked to a heart attack, linked to a drug overdose. Very, very unfortunate, but we're going to probably mainly touch on that in the music industry. Entertainment wise, we'll probably bring to you guys a little bit of some movies, top movies that are going to be coming out this year in 2021. As we know, the pandemic has lessened a little bit, and this will actually come up a little bit in the finance portion too, but the pandemic is starting to it's not completely going away, but you know, as we know, it's been over a year since COVID, so things are and restrictions are starting to lessen. So obviously the movie theaters are open, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are, including AMC. Yeah, so you know more movie theaters are open now, so you're going to see more movies in theaters. Then we'll go to the sports side of it. Probably primarily going to talk maybe some NBA on my end, maybe on your end, George, maybe soccer, UFC. Maybe touch. Yeah, and I can touch NBA. There's some big headlines that dropped today on the side of
baseball and hockey, but just some small mentions if anything kind of exciting enough. We'll touch on a couple good things.
Yeah, baseball's early in the season. There's just not too much to talk about, but we can definitely touch. Unless I'm talking Phillies. I mean, that's the only realistic way, because there's just not a lot going on in terms of headlines. NHL. Yeah, NHL. Yeah, the NHL side of it, we're getting towards the playoffs, but the Flyers haven't been too exciting realistically. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs realistically. But and then we'll wrap it up with some finance news. So there were some big headlines with the stock market today, particularly the Dow Jones. So we can hop into that at the end. We haven't really done a full finance segment on here, but it is coming. But we can touch on some finance headlines towards the end here. So with that being said, this is episode 30. As I said, we don't have any YouTube intro this week, unfortunately. But we're just gonna go on with the show here.
Right now.
We're gonna hop into it. And just think about that, man. 30 episodes since the creation of this podcast. Crazy to think. 30. 3-0.
It's the Big 3-0, bro. It's been a while. I think we worked, hard and diligently, and we brought some good stuff to the table and a couple of good episodes. And it just shows you that if you don't take a break, which there was a couple of days we missed, a couple of weeks, but you get there and make the Big 3-0, and we're 30. 31's already planned, so we're starting, to grow more and to bring you guys some fun stuff. Like we started this, mission/journey about close to 7 months almost now. So actually it has been 7 months, been a little over 7 months. So
Yeah,
we
September,
continue
October,
forward.
December, January, February, yeah, March. Yeah, it's been 8 months, 8.5, realistically.
Okay.
So crazy to think, man. But yeah, no, we've done a lot of stuff. Things that time's just moving forward, man. It's crazy to
Time is
think that we're
as
almost 3/4 year.
Yeah, but it's moving forward, right? You know, it's like it doesn't wait for no man. So it's like I was just thinking about it actually earlier that like time goes by so quickly. Remember like how things were in November, in December, like something was like a little different, but you're kind of in the same place, but you've evolved a little. You know, we have went a little farther somewhere, and even us with the podcast, we went through a lot of good episodes. We grew a lot since then too, since like late October, November, pre-Christmas. You know.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the same person I was in September, man. Just realistically, from multiple different aspects, like a lot of things I got kind of going on behind the scenes. But also the podcast has definitely grown because we didn't have a website, we didn't have an Instagram, we didn't really have Facebook pages that were really popping off that much. And obviously, there's still work to be done and things in the process. We weren't on Spotify, but we're making moves towards it, and yeah, we've seen some growth, seen some traction on YouTube, which is great to see. When I look at the metrics, usually I try to weekly look at like the YouTube metrics and see the viewership, but seeing some growth, seeing some traction, which is always positive. And shout out to you guys out there. The other, the Locked In podcast, this literally does not work without you guys. So obviously, shout out to you, to anybody who maybe was a listener from the beginning or new listeners, whatever the case may be. Shout out to you guys because, like I said, this literally does not work without you guys. So the longtime supporters, the short-term supporters that are new.
Yeah, man.
We keep rocking. We can't do this without you. So
definitely support, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you're the reason we do this because we're trying to bring advice to you guys. So that's always the way to go.
Yeah.
You got to treat the customers correctly. Customer service is key, and you got to know your customer. We're not making money here, not now, but
not yet. I mean, that's all point. That's another thing we got to also talk about because if I jump for a second here, Steve, me and you spoke earlier, and we talked a little about making some moves and possibly even like some getting to some the monetary side and things sort of like popping off. And I spoke to a guy yesterday. I'm not gonna mention his name just yet, but me and you'll talk about it as well. He might be coming on our podcast, and he has a podcast as well. He wants to go to his, so we might be doing some networking. I could probably also bring you along, but this guy's pretty connected. You know what I mean? He knows people in the pro wrestling world, arm wrestling world. Through finances and all that in the casino world. So he'll be a nice guest, excuse me, to have when the time comes, whenever that is. Sometime in May, I'm thinking May or June, because like I said, our calendar is open, but we're making some moves. So that's that one right there. And I mean, this is a really symbolic episode. It's 30, but we're giving them some really good episodes. I believe you only missed 2, and I only missed 1, from as far as I know. No one really, right? You only missed 2, I think.
I think so. It might be correct. Yeah, right there. But yeah, it's like you said, man. Yeah, I'm definitely curious to meet your guy on the other end, man. I'm excited for that one. Yeah, you like he knows a lot. So, but I know I'm excited for some of these upcoming episodes because realistically, we have some really, really solid personal development episodes that are going to be coming up. As I said, the finance one, that like these personal development episodes are going to be very, very practical for you guys out there. These episodes are, especially like the finance one, because everybody, managing your money and managing your finances, investing, is so essential. And when you learn how to do this, honestly, it's going to change your life because it puts you just in a better spectrum. Like you can literally just change your life, understanding how to manage your money, learning how to invest. So I'm excited for that episode. I got a good buddy of mine who's going to be coming on May. I'm excited for that one. He's a recent he started his own business about, I want to say 7 or 8 months ago. Real solid dude. But that episode is going to be great because of the fact that, he can break down the steps of like what it took for him to get his business off the ground, get it started, very, very practical for anybody out there who's an aspiring entrepreneur. Some of these episodes that are coming up are going to be great. And I'm really, really excited to be able to, for me and George to be able to share this content with you guys ultimately.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Ultimately,
we're growing and we're making moves.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah,
So you know what, like, yeah. So you know what? Like, why don't we just hop into it? We probably start with music, but obviously the 3 things you guys got to do, obviously, before we hop into it. Number 1, spread the word about our podcast. If you wind up liking this episode, if you like our content, smash that like button on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and click that little bell next to the subscribe button and turn notifications on if you don't already, because we drop videos every Thursday or every Friday, and you won't want to miss it. Number 2, if you see something you like, Yeah, like you got the water over there, staying hydrated. It's a key
Yeah,
part, man.
thirsty
Health as well.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right,
Yes,
Steve.
sir.
Live, like you said, share, you know what I mean, comment, like, all the good stuff, guys, all the fly shit. But yeah, like I said, we're in there, and we can hop right in real quick, bro. I'll give you the floor in a minute. So also, guys, check out our Instagram page as well. The Instagram page, Steve, right? And we're gonna have a
Yeah.
channel for you guys sooner than later. It's funny because somebody actually asked me about the channel, and I told them that it's like basically me and you, our own personal YouTube channels, but the channel's is growing, and we're actually gonna build our own YouTube ones, so that's coming soon. You know what I mean? So that's another one, and it's the Locked In Podcast on Instagram.
Right. No, yeah, man. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going. As I was kind of saying, it was just like you spread the word about a podcast. Number two, just if you see something you like and you just want to chat down below, let us know your feedback. Obviously, we'd love to hear your feedback. So comment down below if you see something you like, or check out our other pages as well. Like George was saying, our Instagram, our personal website. If you want to be on one of our episodes, just let us know. You can DM us, or you can hit that forum on our website. If you want to find the website, you can see it on our Instagram page. Instagram is the_locked_in_podcast. You can find us on Facebook, wherever you get your podcast, which is you can find us on Spotify under the Locked In Podcast. Find us on YouTube, Locked In Podcast. A lot of good stuff coming. So they're covered my 1 and my 2. And number 3, just sit back, enjoy the show, enjoy the podcast. Stay hydrated. Health is wealth. And 2021, guys, it's a new year, and pandemic's lessening. Just be true and be you, as I always say. It's that's been kind of my saying and my mantra for 2021. Be true and be you.
No doubt, bro. Yeah, man. We cap in a second. Definitely agree with what you're saying. Is new year, new hope. We're actually doing some good things, and we'll keep you guys up to speed as we go and kind of continue through the show. I was thinking actually, I might have got somebody to call in, bro. As far as just kind of call me on the phone, but I had to set it up, and then I kind of put it. I could have put it on the screen. You could hear the conversation, but I didn't. I wasn't able to make the move happen because I think something came up with a person or whatever regarding DMX, by the way. And also another friend of mine that could possibly might go to the memorial. They might have another one before.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I actually might go myself, but I'll get to that as we start the kind of get into it. So I guess let's kind of get into we'll get to the music part as well, but let's talk a little about it a little, and we can come back to what we were saying earlier about following us, and some of the things we have on the side. So the DMX situation, man. DMX has passed away. Earl Simmons, also known as DMX, PKA, professionally known as DMX, has passed away. He passed away on Friday, April 9th, 2021. Today is, of course, April 15th, 2021. It's been a few days. So tomorrow marks exactly a week since we lost X. And I remember it happened exactly, unfortunately, before that, while you're actually still alive, people are saying he was already had passed away, which wasn't true, by the way. It was proven to be true. Unfortunately, the next day, the news came. And, I was kind of like, I was, of course, shocked, but I was preparing myself because I felt like it was probably going to happen. It looked like he, unfortunately, they try to give him like a lot of, they put him in the state to kind of try to help him, bring him back, resuscitate him a little bit. Life support, help him so he could breathe his own. He was breathing on his own, but apparently no activity in the brain really, took part. And I guess, it was something with the brain. They also said a heart attack linked to it. So I'm not sure. You might know a little better than me because you probably read like the report more, but it was something regarding that though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He had a heart attack, and he was revived. I believe it was White Plains, New York. He was revived. He was revived, and they said the last thing that was around him was his family holding his hands and praying as he passed away. Unfortunately, yeah, the heart attack was linked to a drug overdose. Unfortunately, anybody that knows DMX, they know that he had a history of drugs. He was trying to stay clean. Actually, in an interview that wasn't too long ago, they had talked to him like, "How are you doing with your drugs? Like, you don't have a problem anymore?" And he's like, "No, I'll always have a problem. It's a battle every day." And anybody who knows anybody like personally that's close to them that have fought drug addiction, they know it's tough. And he relapsed. He recently relapsed back into drugs, unfortunately, and it was what caused his heart attack. I know for a couple of days there, we were hearing like how it was lingering. How remember they said he was on life support. Nobody really knew his status. Like I remember some faulty reports came out early saying that he had passed on when he hadn't. But exactly. Yeah, so people like to get their obviously get their word out and try to make stories. But
make stories up and fake headlines. People are saying rest in peace 2 days prior to the day actually passed. But no, I hear you. He was definitely life support. He wasn't making progress, like you're saying. and also possibly a link they're saying to like COVID, which is also proven. It was
Yeah,
discredited. It was no
yeah,
real, evidence. Even if you took the COVID shot, there was something totally nothing really to do with that. People are just trying to say that to create confusion and misinformation. Like we live in an age again. 2021 is also the year of this. We're in an era of misinformation and a lot of fast-paced news and not really quite accurate. But the accurate news is what you just said, that he suffered some kind of relapse recently. But as you said, it's hard in those kind of situations, bro. People deal with kind of these kind of demons every day to stay on top. It's kind of hard. And DMX was doing good though. He's looking healthy. He was doing a lot of like promos and a little touring, and it just kind of happened out of nowhere. He was just in his house in I believe near the White Plains area, where it happened.
yeah.
So
Yep, White
April
Plains.
2nd, April 2nd. Yeah, I was confirming the date. They just said April 2nd. Between April 2nd and April 9th is when they pulled the plug, and
Yeah, exactly. So there was like a 7-day span there, right? Whereas like he was fighting for his life. So it's tragic. It's unfortunate. DMX. I know he was I know you've met him, and big influence in your life, but it's just sad because honestly, DMX, man, he was like such a dominant force. Like he was like before 50 Cent came along in like the early 2000s, man, like late 90s. Like DMX was like DMX was that guy, man. Like he was that guy, man. Like in the 90s, and it's crazy, man. Like I heard how he got into rap was like his life changed when he was 14, man. He beatboxed for like the first time, and it just like it changed his life the way just crazy. And even if you haven't been like the biggest DMX fan like over life, like I'm pretty sure everybody has a song like that they know like by DMX, especially Party Up. Big one right there, man. Like y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Like everybody, if you go to clubs, like that's a song like that's always played. It's a timeless song.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear it. It's classic. Like it's just man, it's just very, very sad. He was very, very talented. Yeah, man. What was your experience like when you met him, man? I've never met DMX, but I saw that picture, man. You had met him and you shook hands with him. Like how was that to meet him? Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, it was a cool experience, man. So I met DMX in April of 2019. At the time, he was doing some kind of tour. He was touring around the country a little bit, and he's playing his classics. So it's kind of put together. I forgot I did it, but it was a Club Noto by Vines and 12 right here in downtown Philly. And basically, I was there because I know his brother, right?
Okay.
His brother from South Philly, who's apparently very nice in New York. Though. I just actually spoke to him not long ago, and of course, we spoke a little after it happened before as well. But I met him like that. But basically, it was a concert, and I just heard he was there. So the concert was like, it wasn't expensive. I got in there. I ended up getting a ticket for a little cheaper. I bought off somebody, and then when we got in there, I paid an extra 20 to go to VIP. But the VIP, all it was is a bunch of fly girls and really cute chicks or whatever. Like, there's a lot of chicks in there, but it was nice. And a couple dudes, like in the VIP section sitting down. The VIP has a hallway corridor that goes by the back door, and the back door is another big hallway full of small rooms. The back rooms where all the rappers chill, and the entourage, the friends, the producers, groupies, all that, whatever, like stuff that happens. And then the back door leads you to the outside. He came out, and as he came out on stage, I was close enough, so I kind of seen him come out. I walked by there, but like by the row, but near the DJ booth, because I go up the stage, right, up the stairs, and we shook hands as we went by, and I spoke to him a little, said what's up, and he said what's up. But then he got in, hit the microphone, got on stage, started doing his thing. But the DJ, the booth there's like a little stage, right? Did his show, killed the show. It was amazing. He had a lot of passion. He had a lot of energy, a lot of very raw. I mean, feeling it, seeing it there, it's exactly like see on TV or from another perspective. But you're there, you're like, okay, this is it, and you're like, wow, it's supposed to happen. Like it looks like it's such a small club. It's a DMX, but it was a nice club. It wasn't, it wasn't the club was small. It's just that it's such a surreal moment, So
yeah, man.
I mean, he played all the classics, Party Up,
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
man.
He played Rough Riders Anthem. It went crazy. So I'm chilling there. My boy Cozy, he's in the background somewhere. I kind of go forward. It's funny because I actually got a girl's number too. Some New York chick. I got some girl's number, and I bet some girls that night. But I'm stalking, right? And then I got on this like little mini couch. It was just there for whatever reason, like by near like the stage. But it was like the couch was here, and like literally about, let's say, like about 8 to 9 yards up, it was like the DJ booth. So that's pretty close. And then DMX is up there, like another, maybe like 5 yards up, because it's a little high up. And the DJ's here, X is kind of here with his people, and they're like all rapping and a couple entourage guys. So I get on top of his little couch with a few other people here, and then there's this kid there. This dude was like some kind of producer, apparently a rapper as well, local guy. And I was like, get on the couch. So I give him a hand, kind of pulled him up, and he kind of got on the couch, and we're like this, and we start, like going to DMX, and we're like rapping like this, and it's like everybody became all best pals. It was crazy because I was networking too a little, So it was a fun time.
Yeah,
So
man.
DMX said of the classics at the very end, bro. Basically, when people start walking this way, my boy Cozy disappeared for a second. Shout tell him, yo, Cozy, come on in. Let's go in and see what's up. Maybe we can go back and meet DMX. But he wasn't there. I couldn't find him. At this point, everybody kind of like left. So when I got off like this couch, I'm kind of walking around. I watched like the last song. It's kind of finished. So they're kind of trying to get the guys toward the back a little, like toward, go off the stage. I walk away and there's no security. And I climbed and I got on stage and then I went with the crew and I just became one of them basically. That's how I actually met him for real. It wasn't like I paid money to go in the back there. I paid money to go in the VIP, but he wasn't really in the VIP though. He was in the back room the whole time. He didn't even come out till like 12:45.
Right. That's awesome. No, hey man, sometimes you got to take risks, man, and just
I climbed the stage. So what happened after that, right? We went in the back and I'm walking with them. Security's like, all right, go ahead, guys. The thing is the crew, like some guys that are affiliated with the Rough Riders, the people, his crew, the people that night, the drivers, the DJ he brought in, the road guy, because I actually met his managers too. Some kid was like around my age or something like that. And I was, talking to him there. We were having a conversation about weed and shit, but so excuse me. So anyway, so we walk out, and as we walk out, they got the doors, like the back door, right? In the alleyway there. The entourage is there, they got the cars waiting for them. I go there, and there's a few fans there already, a couple of girls and a couple of fans taking pictures and talking. And I was there, so I'm like, let's want to do the video that you saw on remember I posted a video with 2 pictures? That's when it happened, right after I just met him, right? Like right back there. So I see DMX there, my phone's at 1%. He's getting pictures, but I could see that like he's like a little like the one girl was like, can you get a picture of me? He's like, yeah, come on, man. All right, come on. Let's do a picture real quick. He's like, and he just like this, he's a little frustrated face, like I got another club to go to. He said to another show, after party. And he was like in the DMX vibe, right? But he was cool. He took a picture with her. He's like, all right, come on, man, what's up? Took a picture, real cool. Another one gave her a hug or whatever. She walked away. Another dude took a picture. And then I was like, yo, my man X. I said, my man X, the legend. And you're like this with me. He's like, what up, money? I was like, what's up? I was like, yo, can I get a picture, X, if you don't mind? He's like, yo, get one with my man's real quick. Before I even like get one with him, somebody else asked him something, like some kind of order. So he did it. And then instead of like kind of getting caught up because they tried to pull him away, he stayed there. He's like, yo, let me get one. And he said it. Get a picture of me, my man's talking about me. So we get a picture, and it's like on camera, but it's like on like the camera. He's like, no, ain't no videos. No, ain't no videos. It's just like a picture, and because he didn't want videos, I guess, because like he'd rather just took a picture. And I didn't even do a video; it was just on the video section. So I go on photo, took like 2 pictures, and as I'm doing this, like my hand was shaking a little, my phone is dying. So I got a good one. I got 3 pictures. A good one. One was kind of okay. The one was really blurry, but you can see he's got like his arm around me. We're like this, like that, like chilling with the. I think like one of them, like I'm just like normal, like this, and then one of them, I got like the peace sign, or maybe like this, like the, like I got my fingers up like this, and what's up. But that's how that was like basically like. But after that, he said what's up. Spoke to him for like 2 seconds. Said I'm a big fan. The man's like thank you very much, appreciate you. Shook hands, and that was it. I didn't hold him up. I didn't ask him any questions because he had to go, and the circumstance. Had his brother been there, Joey, would have been a different story. I told him I know his brother. I was like, I'm cool. I said I'm cool with your folks. I didn't say I know your brother. I just said I'm cool with your folks. He's like, oh yeah, all right, and he's like this. He's like, love, and that was it. Like basically very cordial, very cool. He was really awesome, and he had a great vibe, and he was very like, like he had like a personality to him because it's DMX, man. He ain't no average dude or average cat, So
yeah, definitely, man. Wow, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's awesome. You were able to meet him, man. And yeah, I know the man's a performer, man. Dude can perform like none other. And as you said, you were able to see him live. But man, I always remember like when I heard about remember like the Woodstock '99 festival, man, in New York. It was in the '99, man, and it was like there was like 400,000 like people like shot at that stage. Mary J. Blige was there too. And I think she actually announced him onto the stage. It was like Woodstock '99 music festival. It was in 1999, and it was 400,000 people surrounded that stage. Like that's a big.
Oh, you're talking about no, my bad, bro. I'm sorry because I was trying to do something on IG.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull up some videos that I have from that night because I still got them, but they're on my stories. I can still find them, by the way. And maybe I can even send you one behind the scenes for the DMX night in 2019. You're talking about in 1999. Yeah, right. One was in 98, but he wasn't the one you're talking about. One is in 99. It was actually bigger. It's like he's in like San Francisco, Miami, and the stage is like it's like the whole beach. It's like Wildwood being there. It's like it looks like 1 million people. I know you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy. And then like
got the little suspender, like one of them on. He's like he got the boots and he's like stop, and he's like half his shirt is like off. Yep, I know you're talking about. He's got the red suspender.
and they were like, she was like, hip hop is coming to Woodstock, and like people started going nuts, and DMX came out on the stage, and it was like some crazy stuff, man. Like, unfortunately, I was only like 6 or 7 at the time, so I probably don't recollect too much, but I remember reading about it, man. It's just kind of crazy. Like,
but you were near the right? Because it's Woodstock, you said.
no, I wasn't there. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
I remember seeing on TV in '99, but I don't remember being there. I mean, because I wasn't ever there. I don't remember too much like seeing it around. I remember seeing it one time, like or some like something on MTV, and then I seen it as I got older. I keep seeing it, and then like, oh, I remember that. So to me, because I was 11 '99, so I'll probably remember a little more. But the Hard Knock Life tour with Jay-Z, Method Man, and Redman, and Ja Rule, and Murder Inc., and Rockefeller, and Memphis Bleak, and Beanie Siegel, and the Locks, like that was the biggest East Coast
Oh yeah,
like tour ever. Busta Rhymes will shut up, even now shut up a little, and Diddy, but like you know what I mean, like all these like artists, like you have Def Jam, Method Man and Redman, Wu Tang, Method Man, Murder Inc., Ja Rule, and Evergotti, Rough Riders, DMX, Eve, The Locks, right, Dragon, and Rockefeller, Jay-Z, Beanie Siegel, and Memphis Bleak. I mean, it was the biggest tour, and DMX killed that. You should definitely watch some backstage. It's called Backstage the Movie, the 99 rock, rock, not like the mic, Hard Knock Life tour, and he shows, he kind of details a little, like they came to Philly, it was wild. He's from Philly. She was in there. Beanie Siegel's from Philly. A lot of Philly cats that were hanging out with Jay-Z and them, Rockefeller time. You know what I mean? So they were already here. Plus, Powerhouse goes down in Philly in October every year, is annually, and the biggest artists come. Remember, even one time Beanie Siegel headline, I think one time, and Meek Mill always goes to that. He's always like either the headliner or it's close enough because he's a Philly act and he's been poppy for years now. So Meek Mill obviously, shout out to Meek, But yeah, like I said about the DMX thing, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. He's sold out some very big shows, and the performances are definitely legendary. I mean, you could say that. I mean, would you not say that? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. He's collaborated with some of the biggest artists too, man. LL Cool J, you got Snoop Dogg, you got Eminem, Ice Cube. He's collaborated with some of the best. Mary J. Blige, like just it's
you know what I mean? Jay-Z, The Locks, you know what I mean? Camera, Mobb Deep, Sheek Louch, Ja Rule, LL Cool J, Cannabis.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, DMX, he's one of those artists that like he was a star, you know what I mean? He was like kind of above and beyond his time and above a lot of others. I mean, only like people like Pac, Big L, even rest in peace, Big Pun, rest in peace, Eminem. I always compare DMX and Eminem in some way because they're so hard to the beat. They could rhyme so well. They could just they're crushers.
Just lyrically, they're just lyrically gifted.
Lyrically and the way they could deliver too, but definitely with the flow and lyrically, no doubt. And like their delivery, the way they they could spit it out there. But like somebody said something interesting on Facebook, and I'll actually would ask you like a couple of X songs as well. Maybe go into like some of our top songs in a few minutes because it's getting interesting. But somebody said that X recently, like a day or two ago, right? Somebody said that X basically was the Mike Tyson of rap in the way that he moved and how he spoke. And I mean, as far as like the way he rapped, he had the aggression that the explosive type of style. You know what I mean? And Tyson was like that in the ring a little bit. X was kind of like it's almost like he symbolized a strong rapper, tough guy, big strong black guy. You know what I mean? Muscular. He had pitbulls around biting the things off. He had the motorcycle guys. He had the squad. I mean, he had the whole gang. He was really spiritual as well. Very good dude. Definitely street dude. Not one to fuck around with. X is, I mean, he's done his thing in the streets too, man. I mean, everybody knows about X. He was always a legend. I mean, in everything he did, pretty much. I mean, he's even a legend in like playing with the the little, what's it called? Like they call it the toy cars with the little remote control cars. They call it telecomando. Like like little. He's always playing like on the Diaries of DMX. They used to have that on back on MTV2, back in like 01, 02, so like 20 years ago, 19 years ago, they used to have that. I remember to see that. He's always got all the other guys like Ludacris, LL Cool J, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, Cisco, Method Man and Redman. They have those Diaries and all the dancing guys will hang out, and you'd see DMX did. I mean, he was one of the top guys, man. He always got love, and he always got respect. And X wasn't even one of those guys that like partied all the time. I was always out there just like to be out there like for success. I mean, for fame or whatever. I had the bling bling, but he would definitely, when he was out there, he stole the show, and he was definitely like one of the lives of the party. Like he was like the life of the party, whether he performed or not. He had the energy, So everybody said that about him. Everybody was was on that type time with him. Of course, stuff happens in the industry, and we'll get to that as well in a little. But like I said, man, like it also stuff happened to X. I mean, the sound changed a little. He got caught up. He even got at one point he's like blacklisted from the industry a little. Still came out, had an album like a mixtape in 2010. In 2012, he had a good album, but just the way things went a little, and then he making a little comeback, in the last few years, and it was his time to go, I guess. But
fun fact that you brought up that like he's a good entertainer and all that, man. It's like 50 Cent once said there's 4 things it takes in the industry to become a star. Number one, you need to be able to do the work behind the scenes. Lyrically gifted in a way. Not everybody is, but you have to. You need to be a hard worker. So lyrically, he's gifted, right? And then
Yeah,
number two, he said you have to have a strong personality, which DMX definitely did.
yeah,
Number
definitely.
three, you have to be a solid performer and entertainer. When you're on stage, he has that. And then number four is the other one's just style, like having your own like sense of style of like who you are.
Creativity.
He checks all the boxes. You know what I mean, dude? To be a star in the industry, he checks them all. So I mean, he was a solid personality. I actually he's collaborated with some solid people in movies too, like Chris Rock, Steven Seagal. He was in some solid movies, and I remember back in the early 2000s, Cradle to the Grave was a
Jet Li.
movie of mine that I liked. I liked a
And what
lot.
about
Cradle to
that?
the Grave.
Yeah, Aaliyah. Yep. And then Jet
With
Li.
Yeah, Jet Li. Yep, exactly. That was a good movie, and actually, it's one of my favorite movies. It's a great movie to be honest. And he actually was working. Fun fact there, he was actually working like full time on both sides of it. So not only was he acting in the movie, but he was also working on the soundtrack.
He did.
He was working like two jobs at once
That was a good
on that
soundtrack.
movie.
Romeo Must Die was amazing. The whole soundtrack was a bunch of rappers, and that some of them are still out, some are not as much anymore. But X is some of the best songs in there. And he had a song with Aaliyah. But he's like, a dog hits his bitch. What? What? A dog hits his bitch. Come on, come on. Oh. And Aaliyah killed. I mean, Aaliyah was, rest in peace, Aaliyah as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was amazing. But that movie was great. He didn't have a really big role in the movie, but he was in a couple of scenes in the beginning with Machine Gun. I mean, he was on fire. At that point, he was that boy, man. X was that boy. Like, X, after Tupac and Biggie died, and even after Big L died in 99, it was kind of like X, like late 97, 98, 99. Jay-Z was there too, but it was X. Jay-Z kind of took over a little after because X, was strong for like 5 years in a row, almost 6 years. Then the 6 years he didn't have an album. He retired for a little bit. I went to kind of come back with the album Ear the Dog. But in between those years, he took a year off, and then some stuff happened that people don't know about behind the industry, and then he got caught up. The album didn't really get, it didn't do as well as it should have. He had 5 albums and number one. So, and I can name the albums, by the way. And then I'll let you, have some more words in, because you're bringing some good facts too. So he had It's Dark and Hell Inside, 98 in May. He had Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood in 1998 as well, which is hard to do in one, like, solo year, 1 year, to do like 2 albums. People do it by season more, but he did it like in 1 year. He wrote 2 albums, like, it was just amazing. No one has done it to this point. Or at the time, no one had done it. I'm not sure if somebody's done it now. I don't want to say no one has done it, but I never heard anyone do like a major album. 2 monumental, iconic albums, classic, beyond classic at this point in time. He did it in 1 year, 1998. Then December 20, I think 23rd or 24th, 1999, he dropped It's Dark and Hell is Hot, which had Party Up and What's My Name. That DMX. Right. Oh, remember the song, right? What you really want? What's my name? DMX, and I be the rest. See the rest? Looking like they need the rest. One more time. I'm gonna spit at you some shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna rap though. I was just kind of fucking around some lyrics and a little tribute to DMX. But that came out. That was the 3rd album. Then he had the Great Depression, which came out like towards like the fall of 2001, right? The Great Depression, also number 1. Although some people, I remember saying he wasn't as good as his first 3 albums, it proved them that Chris to be kind of a little bit, wishy-washy, a little false, because the album still did really well, and it debuted number 1. Some say he wasn't as good as the previous one, and then that was X, but it's still a great album. Then, so 01, right? Then he went until about 03, till about late summer or early fall to drop Grand Champion 2003. And that's one that has Get It on the Floor and Where the Hood At. So he had 5 albums at number 1, bro, and no artist really has done that. So that's right there. He's also like, it's the thing about DMX that you were saying earlier. He's got a couple of records too, and some accolades and accomplishments that people don't really always realize he has. But the diehard fan, like me and you, would know, because we definitely know about DMX and our research. Some people out there that might be a little younger, the younger generation might not know always like his resume like that, So I'm just saying that let's go back and think and listen to some songs, and if we actually missed something. I banged these albums, heavy, I definitely like played them out and listened to them, but you can always pick up something new, something you might not appreciate that like a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And I liked your point how, like you said, after Pac and Biggie, it was kind of DMX, but you're absolutely right, man, because in like the late 90s, it's kind of like DMX like took the torch, and it was like DMX, and then if you will, like until like the early 2000s, where like it was like 50 Cent and Jay-Z, and it was I was
03. Like
yeah,
Jay-Z was like, I would say Jay-Z was like
Eminem.
97 to about 2000, well, to about 2010, but let's just say Jay-Z was like really on top, like about 99 to about 2009, 2010, whereas X was more like 98 to about 03, and 50 was like 03 to about, I would say 2010, 2011, about 2010, because 50 kind of, after 2011, 50 didn't make as much albums. I mean, he made compilations, but he went to movies and shows. Power came out last decade. But I mean, 50 is still very relevant and very good. Actually, DMX and 50 Cent had a song together called Shotdown. It's DMX featuring Styles P and 50 Cent. It's off the Grand Chip album, which I just mentioned. And it's a very hard beat. I mean, obviously we could play some music, but, we don't want to get, we have to have a lot of, restrictions, infringement rights.
Don't want any copyright infringement.
Exactly. That's the only reason I'm not really actually putting nothing, but which is why I recited myself to the best of my knowledge. But this song with 50 Cent and Styles P is a great song with X, and that's like one of the very few times that 50 and the DMX actually kind of collaborated. But I knew they're always kind of cool, but from a close source, I also heard that like they never really fuck with each other like that. Like it wasn't like there was nothing behind the scenes like bad, but it was like if I see him like, yo, what up, what's up, all right, cool, pound and keep going. But I heard that like some of these people that I was hanging out with one night, it was right after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right after the parade, like 2 nights later, something like that, hanging out in South Philly, talking to some people that know X and all that, some close friends, and stuff like that. And they're saying like, yeah, like basically X and 50, they were like they met in the studio. He came to the studio and 50 Cent, dropped the verse and made that song, and everything was cool. But DMX had a lot of connections in the industry. I mean, we can talk about that if we have time, and if we get into it like that. But it was definitely very, very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I just think he played a strong role in the industry, man. He was honestly an inspiration to many, many people. People in not just in the industry, but in life as well. We were lucky because honestly, he overdosed in, what was it, 2016? Remember that he overdosed and he was able to revive. So we had him another 5 years. Fortunately, but it's just sometimes it just catches up. Sometimes a dark past can just catch up. It can get the best of us. So it's unfortunate.
I mean, again, bro, I don't want to get into too much of these things like that. Just kind of respecting. Again, I might,
of course,
I'm going to go to New York, so I'll probably go. Maybe, I don't know. I might even be at the funeral. We'll see how everything kind of goes. I'm not saying that I am or I'm not, and I don't want to say too much on live and all that. But at the same time, I'm going to probably hopefully see that, go to the service. It's only right because I'm actually might go with a friend of mine, another guy from the DMX era. This guy, he's even way older than me, but he's definitely from that four-wheeler, DMX era, the late 90s. It's almost like the mid 90s going to the late 90s, going to the 2000s, to the new millennium. That period was one of the best periods. And I was lucky I caught a little towards that. I was like old enough to remember that. Summer of 2000 and 2001, it was no DMX, bro. I mean, like this, I remember when, 2000. I remember that very well, man. Yeah, because he has a song, What the Bitches Want. Remember that song?
Yeah. Of course, man.
Yeah, they're making jokes and they're saying, what are they saying? That they still don't know all the girls' names. He mentioned he dropped about 40 girls, 50 girls.
Wow, really?
Letitia, Vanda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Annette, Anisha, Nikki, Monica, yo, he went in, bro. Kim. About 3 Kims, Latoya, and Tina. X is the man. Like I said, I love that guy, man. It's such a shame he went like that, but I mean, at the end of the day, he lived a great life. So rest in peace to X. And again, we don't gotta hurry up because I do want to give, you know what I mean? There we go. Always DMX. But I don't want to like move and kind of like move on the floor, even though because we actually got a little time. We have a decent healthy amount of time, so I don't want to move the subject too fast. We'll kind of go back to some DMX and maybe like even share like a memory or story. But let's talk a little about the industry, bro. And how about like, for example, like a DMX and somebody when you pass away, you're that big of an artist, everybody's kind of like talks to you and wants to like remember the times, but I feel like sometimes you got to give the flowers more when they're alive too, DMX is a little different. You can say he got his flowers when he was alive, but I feel like a lot of people felt like he was just kind of like a little bit, he's past his prime a little, and he was still very underrated and very nice. I mean, he was still very hard and hot with the beat. I mean, he just, by the way, just so we know, or clearness before we move on too fast, he did complete his new album, like the latest album that was going to be probably released soon anyway, and it's, now that he passed away, it's going to come out like, pretty fast too. He's the first album after he passed.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, man. It's just what was your favorite song ever by DMX? Do you have like a favorite or a favorite album?
I don't know. Song is a hard one. I have a couple maybe songs. Albums, again, it's really hard to say, but I would say that I could listen pretty much to any day, any second to It's Dark and Heavily South. All the other ones too, but that one just because it's his first album. It's like something about that album because I had it when I was little. I took the cassette, by the way. I didn't mention that, and also had the and then there was X and cassette. But when I got a little older, around like 99, 2000, I think I had my mom buy me one of them one time, and then one time I had enough money to actually buy the CD. And then one DMX CD, I found it. It was stripped, a CD in a case. I just found it somewhere at a party, and I just took it. I was all right. No one claimed it. It's mine now. So I got lucky with some DMX CDs back in like the early 2000s, like I said. But my first DMX CD was probably, it was like I think my mom had bought it maybe like in late '99 or something like that. And again, I would say that like my favorite, maybe the one that's closest to my favorite, if I had to choose, would be It's Dark and Heavily Soft. But and then what's next is another classic, and also the second one, Blood on My Blood, Flesh on My Flesh. That's an amazing one. That's one he's got, like he's like this, like he's got the blood and all that. It's just wild,
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm talking about the cover. If people are wondering what I'm talking about, the cover. He's like this on the cover. Like it's got some great songs, man. I'm actually planning on playing some DMX after this, and I'm in the mood to this is some like DMX, some Cameron, maybe. Maybe a little Jay-Z too, some old school like 50 from like back in the day, but definitely some DMX. So I actually might want to ride out a little bit just because But I've been listening to a lot of DMX. So I know you'll be watching some of my stories though. I'll be definitely posting a lot of X stuff and related content. We got to give the man his dues. I was giving to him when he was alive, and always shout out DMX out. So now when he's dead, even more so. But we lost a true one. But he's in paradise. Like I said, like Ryan from Paradise, and he's reunited with some of his folks that are no longer with us. And next to a lot of people that he was close with, had passed. He always would like shout out a guy named Kato. Hey yo, Kato. Rest in peace to Kato. Kato. Yeah, he was a Chicago guy.
Exactly.
Heavy in Chicago. Kind of the underworld a little bit when it came to the gang life and the squads and the gangs and all that. But a good dude though. Definitely. I heard some good stories about him too. From like some more like close insiders or people that knew people that were there. Stuff like that. Trust me, bro. I could not be making these things up, or they're just too accurate. You know what I mean? And who told me they were too damn accurate? It's just like you just know. I was like, oh yeah, DMX probably would do that. Would say that. Like X is a cool dude, man. Always playing with like the dogs. The dogs like they want to be like fight. They just play fighting with each other and with him or the people are there. He had big dogs. If they're scared of dogs, he'd be like, yo, I got you. He'd be like, like the dogs ain't gonna bite you. Be cool. He looked out for everybody. He was a good soul. It's evident by even had the way he treated me. He's like, yo, take a picture of me, my man. He could have just been like, yo, I gotta go, or be like, 20 people. But he see me. We even spoke briefly earlier. Shook his hand as he got on stage, like very little. So when I met him towards the end of the night, he was like, he remembered me. So that's I know he had a good memory. I'm like, you know what? He definitely remembered me because we spoke like an hour or two prior before show. But though in the show, that could happen. They might not remember you before the show and after the show, but he remembered me. And we met like this. It was like I was going this way, I was coming out the door, and he was coming out, like walking the stage. I was like, all right, what's up, man? All right, good luck, whatever. Do your thing, boom, boom. It was like quickly. It was a quick little handshake, and that's it. He shook a few hands, shook my hand, and like this, kind of give him a little pen, a little dap, and then he went into the stage, killed the show, and then after, like, close to 2 hours later, I seen him. It was like, even has it on my iPhone. It's still on my iPhone. The picture says 2:42 a.m. That's when I took the picture with him. It was hilarious. I was like, wow, I still got it. And somebody said the picture, I took a picture of him. He's just like him. He's like kind of talking to somebody. Like I took some snaps, from afar. They're probably worth now to me, but I'm like, nah, I just cherish them. They're just memories to me now. That's all they are, really. I don't care, what they're. I'm sure they are worth a lot, but it's like because now the internet is floating, pictures of the rappers that passed away. So there's so much. There's a lot going on. They're definitely trending, and they're being posted. So people also, pay good money for pictures and all that, but also, they want to kind of give a tribute, so they'll post something online, So I'm sure you've seen a lot of DMX stuff on IG, you know what I mean? Like a lot of pictures and posts because of the hashtag, with the algorithm. And we've talked about these things, so. But yeah, man. What about you, though? Let me ask you a few questions about DMX. Tell me some of the earliest memories you have of DMX as far as the rapper and what you started listening to him, and also like if you could give me maybe some of your favorite songs from him.
I would say like when I'll be honest, like I'm a DMX fan. I'm not the big, I'm not probably not as big of a DMX fan, like just because like I didn't listen to his music probably as much as you did, probably realistically. You're a little bit older than me as well. I remember him from the late 90s and the early 2000s. My favorite album by him would probably be I honestly like The Great Depression. I honestly like the great. Yeah,
that's a great album, dude. That's actually a very good album. It's very underrated too. People think it's one of his weaker albums. It's not. It's probably in the top 2, top 3 almost.
Yeah, but man.
7 albums, and I believe 7, and they're all amazing. And he has a mixtape called DMX the Mixtape. That's actually a great mixtape. He's got a feature with Mobb Deep called Boy Back Up. It's a tough song, bro. One day I'll play in the car because it's a very tough song. I know, sucker, boy, back up. It's crazy. The beat, the way they did it, and DMX kills it, and Mobb Deep is there. So. Rest in peace, Prodigy. Man. Rest in peace, DMX. A lot of guys.
Yeah, and obviously in terms of like songs, I like going give it to him. Like that's like a classic.
Oh yeah. You actually use that on one of the intros too, but that's actually that's a very good song off the Credit to the Great soundtrack. Yep, X gonna give it to you. That one.
Yeah, that's a classic, man. And obviously another one. Like this is more friendly for everybody. I kind of brought it up earlier. Party Up. Obviously, that's a big one. Like y'all gonna
That's
make
one of his
me.
biggest. I think that and Rough Riders Anthem are two of his like biggest like commercial hits and just bangers in general. But they could go in any way. You can play them in a club, in an underground spot, in a hood spot, on a gangster type of setting, or people around, or somewhere else, in a hood, somewhere nice, in a very classy place, somewhere in New York, in Vegas, on a fight. Like it's just one of songs that he hits anywhere. In a bike club, like right there by Armingo, all the people do the bikes and all that. You can blast DMX right there, but you can blast Rough Riders Anthem because the video has that in its sound. I mean, it's such an amazing video, bro. It was an amazing time to be alive then and to have witnessed that. I mean, even though you're a little younger than me, by like close to 4.5 years, you still caught the very tail. Like I said, I caught like the late 90s. You probably caught late 90s, early 2000s. So you know a little bit of 90s hip hop and how hard he was and how amazing that. The 98 to 2006 era was really cool though. I mean, and even after it was pretty nice too. Hip hop really started to change a lot, but like by the late 2000s, by like 07, 08, that's when he started to really shift somewhere else. But that's a different story.
Yeah, it shifted into like a different element. Just ultimately in terms of the way, yeah, you're right, in terms of the way hip hop was in the late 2000s. But another memory, man, of DMX is just like I remember in Like Mike in '02, that song Party Up, it was actually in the movie. They're like singing it in the car.
The movie with Bow Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him and the other guy Tracy, they're like singing it in the car and they're like dancing and stuff. And I was like, yeah, because it was like '02. That movie was '02.
'02. That was in '02. Yeah. So I'm saying X was like huge then, bro. I mean, it's so weird, bro, because I remember times really well, but then looking back, I'm like, I remember them, but it's been so long. But I remember memories from the '90s, and I remember like some of the big time rappers, like, but coming out and doing their thing, and it being a huge age of hip hop. But I wasn't also old enough to really understand it for what it was then. Now, like years later, I understood it better. Even now that I'm even way older, I could definitely go back to some of the songs I heard since like maybe like 95 or 96 or 97, 98 around that time, and I'd be like, okay, I kind of got it then, but then I understood it more when I was in high school, and then way after, like after college, now I understand what he means. Or I thought this lyrics was saying this, he was saying this actually. He wasn't saying that. Or no, that was always a clean version. It's bullshit. Because they censor the words. Remember that?
Exactly.
Nowadays, everybody's to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out and move the lips just as much as generation. Forgot about Dre. Remember that? He'd be like, he want to say the word, like he want to say motherfuckers. Forgot about Dre. He would just like mumble them out, like, so what do you say to somebody he ate? What? that Dr. Dre and them, but that was another song from like that time, late '90s. But yeah, I would say like '99, 2000, bro. Even '01, like 2001, and you probably remember the era because you were like old enough to remember a little. That was a very good time in music. Everybody was out, like Eminem, Dr. Dre, the Rough Riders, DMX, Jay-Z, Fabulous. I mean, Murder Inc., Wu-Tang. I mean, all of the Cash Money Millionaires were still kind of out. Wayne was still out. I mean, he wasn't as big as he became later on, but he was kind of on his way up more around like '01, '02. That's when Wayne really started to kind of grow his own a little more. But he was even before that though. Realistically, Wayne's been out for a long time. I mean, who else was out there? Like Trick Daddy from Miami. Who else? There's a lot of groups. I mean,
Lloyd Banks.
Yeah. Lloyd Banks came out after, but yeah, like No Limit on those guys. Lloyd Banks came out with 50 in him, like in like '02, '03 around that time. Because G Unit formed officially in '02, but they were working on their mixtape since like 2001, I want to say. But like around like 2002 they formed, and that's when they signed with G Unit. I mean, with G Unit, basically they created G Unit then, around '02, and then around like it was like around the summer of 2002 they got signed to Eminem's label, to Dr. Dre Eminem's label. That's how 50 Cent came in the game. But by that time, hip hop was already, that was the peak. Like I would say the peak of hip hop in the 2000s was around 2002. 2002 was around the time. That was around the peak, like 2001, 2002, up to 2003. Like 50 was the last of that era. They came out. You know what I mean? They kind of blew up like around '03, '04, and then the South took over. Things changed a little, and then and then don't get it wrong. I mean, Jada Kiss, 50 Cent, Jay-Z, DMX, Nas, they stayed hot for for those Busta Rhymes, Mobb Deep. But after like they stayed hot up to the 2000s, then the whole new movement started by like 2012, 2013. I would say music changed so much, and that's a lot of trap music started appearing and all that, and the more like that's like a lot of mumble rap started to come out like around like 2013, 2014. So that's where everything changed with kind of what it is like now. But hip hop has changed gradually since then, and and the best years in the early 2000s was definitely '02. That was like one of the best years. '02, '03 was good.
Yeah, and who set it off from the beginning, even before DMX, was late '80s, early '90s, was NWA, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of they changed the face, because rap and hip hop before that just was never the same, because I mean they weren't afraid to go against go against what they were told they were allowed to say on music. They were just very, very raw with it, and that kind of formed the foundation for like hardcore rap and hip hop that you kind of saw throughout the 90s, early 2000s. Obviously, we still see it today, but you noticed, yeah, just like you said, in like 2013, trap music kind of came around, and then even in like the more recent years, hip hop has even kind of transformed. I would say it's not mumble rap and all the other stuff that has kind of come around today. It's definitely not what it was 20 years ago. Like back when DMX was around, and like you said, 50 Cent, it just was a lot of people like to say it got soft in a way. A
Yeah,
lot of people like to bring up that fact, but I mean it's subjective. It depends, because a lot of people that defend rap today, it depends on what era you were born in. Obviously people like us are probably going to side more with rap 20 years ago, but people that are born were born in 2000 or later, so they're not even millennials. What are they, Gen Z? They might side with rap
like
today.
99 and past, right? They'll definitely will remember. Somebody born in like 96, 97 might be old enough now to discover some old acts, even some young Jeezy from like 05, 04, or 05, like when he had that Soul Survivor, Akon, even some styles from the 2000s, because they might be like 24, 25. So if you're born like post 90, before like 97 and before, you might know that. But anybody born like 2000 and later is not gonna really understand that. So they'll side more with like, they might like a lot like J. Cole, and it's fun because J. Cole, he's kind of like a little before that era, but he's also from, more like the more recent, like, years, but they also might like Drake, but Drake has been in the game for 12 years now, almost 13 years.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, Drake's still doing his thing, man.
Drake is still very
It's
young.
crazy.
But Drake could be 39, 40 years old and still be rocking. He could be 42 and still he's just mature more as an artist by then, depending, where, I guess, how he takes it, and where he goes and all that. But yeah, I think you're right, man. And no, I agree with you, dude. Yeah, like you said, like hip hop definitely is changing. Even nowadays, it's becoming a little different too. Like it's kind of like it's like mixed with like some entertainment. It's mixed with like with like the beats are tough. It's not just mumble rap, but it's still not as good as it was like 10 years ago, or even 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even 20 years ago, like back in like 99, 2000, 2000, 2001, in that period. Yeah, I was in middle school then, bro. So I actually have some good memories of like the whole era from X to Jay-Z and these guys. But I remember that era because even that post 9/11 era was like actually very good for hip hop. Like it was at its peak, like 01, 02. 02 rappers were like, the money was good. It was like sneakers are on point, bro. Fresh as shit. Fly to the core. Fresh to death, bro. Fly to death and everything. People, it was like Ella Cool just says, something about dudes left the game, you know what I mean? He's like he's like, yo, dudes are telling me,
Yeah.
something about the platinum shit, it's about platinum. So the golden shit is dead. Meaning like the shit they're rocking in 85 to about 90, it wasn't going on anymore in like 2001, 2000. It was something different. It was the bling bling. It was like, like a little like something like this, like a little bracelet, or
Right.
Like this, or the watches, like the ones that have the TikToks and all that, with like the little diamonds and all. It was platinum, it was chains. Again, Jay-Z was rocking some good eyes, Cameron, Fabulous, the Cash Money Millionaires, Lil Wayne, all those guys, 50 Cent was even doing it, the Young Buck, all the guys back then.
Oh yeah, man. And the one of the first you said you were in middle school around those times. I was probably more elementary school.
Yeah, you're probably late. You're not fourth grade or something like
that. The first I think rap album that I ever bought was D12 World with Eminem. I had to lie to my mom that it was the censored version, and then when I got the album, it was all curses on it, and my mom was like, "Man," because I think at the time I was like 10 or 11. And I remember I went up to my neighbor's house up the street, and my neighbor that was on my block at the time, I gone up the street, and they had a stereo, like a boom box, and we were playing the CD, like, and it was just like curses and stuff, but it was hilarious. But that D12 World I think was released in 04, but that's Eminem and D12. But
it was World. Okay, I thought you said Devil's Night. That came out in 01.
No. Yeah, it was D12 World, which was Eminem and D12 collab.
Yeah, it was D12. Yep. Eminem was like with the group at that point. It was like a group album. It wasn't a solo album. And it was 04. Yo, you know something funny about that album? I had that album. And I remember I let some kid in high school borrow it. He lost it. And then I remember I bought it in Italy. I was in Italy. I went to Italy this summer and I bought the album. And I actually found it. Like it wasn't like the European version, like with extra songs. It was just the same one. It was like the US version, because the UK or European version might have a song. It's probably meant for like a mixtape or like a bonus or something could be a little slightly different. You know what I mean? So you'll say like UK version because you're in Europe, or in Italy you just be European version. But I was in Italy in August of 04 and I bought that album because I had it. Some freaking dude lost it. I was like, ah man. So yeah, I bought it.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
And he said you bought it back in like around that time, around 04. He said, right? Like you were like what, 11 years old?
Yeah, yeah. Because my dad used to make he would make mixtapes for me and my brother Dylan. He'd burn CDs and shit and stuff like that. So yeah, so he would like burn CDs with all different types of stuff. But he would try to like censor out like the curses on the rap songs. I would like want a lot of Eminem and like DM like I would say like more like 50 Cent and stuff like that back then. I like DMX. I obviously I probably didn't like I said I probably didn't listen to him as much as you did, unfortunately. But obviously I big time followed him, and honestly, he stars in one of my favorite movies, Cradle to the Grave. So that kind of got me very very interested in DMX. But it's just very very sad. I probably listened to him more as I got older than I did so much when I was younger, I would say. But I always anytime I've ever heard about like DMX or anything like that, I've heard about how spiritual he was, how much of a genuine dude he was, and like a lot of people referred to him as a poet. He's very, very spiritual and very, very lyrically gifted. And a lot of people like to refer to him as a poet.
I would say so.
Poet.
Always very charismatic, very a lot of passion, a lot of energy. Even if the energy was like meant for like a situation where he's just like doing like a small poem, almost like not a freestyle, but like a poem. And he's kind of like maybe reciting a little slower. He'd have a certain like swag to him, a certain energy, a certain move, carrying himself a certain way. So DMX really was like a one of a kind. He's the type of rapper that like kids growing up like if I was a rapper, I'd be like him. Or growing up, I just want to be like him. Rappers were kind of like our little bit heroes to some of us. Growing up, how he was. Even 2000s, even or even before that. But me and you're not old enough to know the early 90s, but we're more like mid and late 90s. Like I'm more like mid to late 90s. You're more like late 90s, 2000s. So we grew up to that. I remember like DMX back in the day, like again when I was like in fourth grade, like third grade, maybe late third grade. He came out when I was like in third grade, but that's when I moved to America. So, but like I remember he was big in other countries too. Though. I mean, he's always been big, like in England, in Italy, in Japan, in Europe, in Africa, in Russia, all that. Nigeria, in Brazil, all everywhere. Korea, Jamaica. Also, and speaking of movies, bro. So I also talk about some of his movies. He's also been in one of my favorite movies, which is Belly, and another one of his my favorite movies, Cradle of the Grave, like you said. And I personally, one of my other favorite movies that I think it's probably second or first best movie, maybe second though, but definitely up there. Never Die Alone. That's actually probably he himself one time in an interview, DMX stated that that's actually his best movie, and he's like maybe like his favorite as well. He said that's actually my best film. He said, but obviously Romeo Dice is a good movie, but I personally love Belly, Cradle of the Grave, and Never Die Alone. But I only seen Never Die Alone like twice, 2 or 3 times, and only one time as like a certain age, because an adult. Because 2 times was like back when he came out, like back in like '04. I was like 16, 17. I wasn't as old. Now I'm a little older, so I seen it one time, and he actually came on like a year ago. I seen it. Never Die Alone. It was it was a really good movie though. But yeah, I think like as far as me, like Belly's up there, but Cradle of the Grave is really cool too. Though I mean, you have a lot of good scenes in there. Jet Li's in there. It's a dynamic duo. I like the dynamics together. And Jet Li posted something on Twitter. Rest in peace, DMX. Said it was an honor to get to know you and to work with you and to share some moments with you. I mean, deep man. It's really deep, man. When you think about it, it's like a hero has passed away. So that's why DMX will always be one of the GOATs and one of the greatest, bro. But the same way, I think about Tupac. Although I wasn't old enough to remember when Pac passed, I just remember hearing something, but I didn't really tune in as much. I remember Biggie passing a little more than Tupac, but still, it's like he doesn't need you the same as your kid. Had it happened now, I feel kind of similar, like when ODB died, when Prodigy died, because I was also a huge fan, as of Prodigy, a very vivid, follower, and a lot of a big supporter. I never seen Mobb Deep live. I was close to seeing them, but I got his book and I read a lot about Prodigy too. And he also said that 50 Cent mentions about Prodigy on one of his, I believe his book, the latest one he just wrote, the Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Yeah. I think 50 wound up saying that who was it? Jay-Z called out I think Jay-Z had called out Prodigy.
Yeah, he did.
In one of the songs. Yeah, he
dissed him on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, he dissed him, I think, because it was when he was going through the beef with Nas, and he dissed he dissed him, and he said back in you weren't, I think it was in the takeover, and he's like I was pushing weight back in '88. He's like you were a ballerina. I got the pictures. I seen you, and he posted a picture. He posted a picture of Prodigy on the screen in a ballerina, not a ballerina, in a skirt, in like a ballerina tutu, from when he was a kid, because his mom wanted him to dance and stuff. And 50 said that it actually destroyed Prodigy, not in terms of his success, but it like emotionally destroyed Prodigy, because he said he like tried to like fight it and argue with it. He said Prodigy should have just owned it, honestly, realistically, because Jay got him right there just with that, because of that. But he said if I was Prodigy, I would have just owned it because then Jay can't do nothing about it. It's like, oh well, my mom wanted me to be cultured in the arts and stuff like that, like whatever, and should have just been.
Can I onto that, Rob? Like I said, this is definitely industry talk. Can I add on to that a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying, and I agree with what 50 Cent said in his book, but I also kind of don't agree with the fact that like it kind of like destroyed Prodigy or really fucked him up mentally. He definitely made some moves at the time, and his style it went down a little bit. Not his stock. It might seem that way, but that's a little bit of a false narrative. His stock was good. His style, he even admitted, Prodigy says in his book and everywhere else, he said in interviews many times before he died that my style in 01 around that time was kind of getting a little sloppy. So the way he was rhyming and when he's writing his albums, getting all the stuff together, it's almost like he was like, he felt like he wasn't his best. Although, still to this day, if you think about it, that album, Infamy, which came out in 01, and Prodigy between like 01 to like 03 or 01 to 04, in like 3 year, you know what I mean? Yeah, 3 year period. Even though he got a little sloppy, a little lazy. I'll say the word lazy. He said himself in his book and somewhere else with the lyrics. He still produced and helped make some great albums. I mean, let's not get it fucked up. He had crazy verses, but he wasn't as good as Prodigy before 01. Now, that's sometimes has been credited to Jay-Z, but it just Prodigy stuff was slipping a little. And he even said it, like drugs and stuff was going on in his life. He had sickle cells, a lot of issues. Prodigy's another one that suffered a lot, Rest in peace, God bless his dead.
Of course, I was a Prodigy fan as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. But like Brad said it, people said Jay-Z killed us and he destroyed it, but it was the proof after that. Because Infamy did well. He didn't do as good as some other albums, but he did very well. And he produced some classic songs. I mean, like The Burning when he's talking about Jay-Z subliminally, and Prodigy went after Jay-Z too. It's just that, Jay-Z was in command at the time, and Jay-Z was known to, get people and take them off songs and set them up and make it hard to eat. He did it with Gilly. There's an interview with Gilly that's out right now. It's floating on the internet that talks about it. And Gilly's now, it's like this. Gilly was like this, kind of like
yeah, definitely.
And his friends like, yo, he says, like,
yo, real quick, I just gotta step out for like 2 seconds, but we'll wrap up, I guess, the music section because we almost hitting like almost an hour. It's kind of crazy. We've been talking about DMX for like an hour, but we'll hop into like, so yeah, then we'll move forward, I guess, with the sports, entertainment and finance. We don't gotta spend too much time on them because we're already an hour deep on this.
Yeah, we're good on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll move forward. But if you want to just elaborate a little bit, make some like closing comments while I just step out for just 1 second, like on the DMX thing, man, and it'll just take me 2 seconds.
No problem. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'll keep it going a little bit. Yeah, basically, just a lot going on with the DMX thing. One of the greatest, one of the greatest has passed. So shout out to DMX and prayers to his family and all that. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I was lucky to have met DMX, but now it's just a memory in time. And it was a good time. It was definitely a very good time when I met him, a very good memory. He treated me really well, and he definitely had killed that show prior to me and him, over there backstage somewhere in the club. He was very like influential type of performer, and like he could kind of like get to you a little bit, like the performance, the vibes. I got some videos and actually some promo today, speaking on that, but I might post some videos on the DMX concert. I'll post when the time comes. Right now it's just a whole lot going on. We're trying to kind of wrap things up with this. But yeah, the podcast so far is going well, and we'll probably include something about the secrets of the industry, and maybe a whole industry type of episode. We'll talk about it. Me and Steve will talk about it, and possibly make one for you guys. So yeah, I think Stevie's back now. Hang on a second. Let me see. Somebody texting me. Oh, yeah. I was just kind of keeping up the podcast. I just basically said that like me and you will talk about it. We could probably do a podcast on just like music industry type of thing, since we got so much to talk about. I mean, and these episodes are good because people actually do want to hear this kind of things too, bro. So it's actually very good for the podcast and for our, programming, if you call, and showing and all that. But yeah, like I said, just the rest in peace DMX, and condolences, you know what I mean? And like I said, prayers, and also shout out to his family, to the Sins family, all his children, 17 beautiful children. A lot's going on, a lot of good videos, a lot of support for DMX. So anybody wants to see that, just go on IG. I mean, everybody from the Rough Riders family to Swiss Beats to like Cassidy to other rappers have posted or talked about it, have videos. DNY, the two Rough Riders CEOs and main guys behind Rough Riders, and most a lot of DMX's success, and of course running the machine. There was the crew that is the Rough Riders and label. So yeah, definitely our thoughts are with them. And again, Steve, like I was telling you, bro, and I'm telling the crowd, I'm kind of like affiliated with some people that know DMX, a few people, and in my life I met a couple of Rough Riders, so I've been lucky and very it's been very good for me in every regard, But I mean, I've been kind of like blessed to meet some cool people in the industry, a little here and there, and Also, I know people know DMX, knew him personally. I'm friends with ING. They follow me. We talk often, so it's gonna be a good one. And I plan on going, but I will let you know. And I'll come, possibly if I got some more news on DMX, we'll post it on our pages just to be because we owe our viewers that to be fair to the fans and just to keep it 100. So
Yeah, man.
um, I think
Definitely.
we spent a good amount as far as like the whole industry thing, bro. Like I said, it's a crazy industry. I mean, it can be a little cutthroat, and again, it's like it is. It's always like you're a great artist, but like the biggest thing, somebody kills you until you die. It seems like because when you die, everybody's kind of like cheering you up. When you're alive, a lot of times, sometimes you can be forgotten. So it's a very cruel world. Let's not get misconstrued. It could be very. It's kind of what you've done lately. Hip hop is very unforgiving, very forgetful. It could be right. So
Exactly. It's just very, very hardcore, man.
it's blood sport in some ways. It's competitive. Even 50 Cent talks about that, and Jay-Z has mentioned that, and DMX. But we must definitely tune in and keep our ears on the streets. And like I said, we'll do some more things on this, though. And because we didn't get too deep, and I didn't want to get too deep on it, but we'll probably touch up on other things at some point, and maybe in like another episode too. Let me think, bro. All right, bro. So let's move on a little. So I
Yeah,
do
why
want to
don't
think. Yeah, go ahead. We're talking about sports, right? We'll get into the sports a little. We have a couple
sports we can just cover honestly probably in 5 minutes. I would realistically say we don't got to spend too much time on sports. Maybe we could dedicate like 10 minutes to entertainment and then we can wrap up with finance. Like it's not gonna be too much with sports. Basically I'll start here with this one. And obviously before I move on, just again, as you were saying, George, with rapping to, rest in peace to DMX, just my respects there. Before we move on to the second section here. So we covered the music side of it with DMX. That's kind of what we wanted to talk about there. With sports, if I just hop into the NBA, there was one big headline today in particular, just across the league. This doesn't really just affect the Sixers. And in a way, it honestly kind of does. But
but not exactly though.
Lamarcus Aldridge, just retired out of nowhere today. So Lamarcus Aldridge was he played the 4 and 5 position in basketball, but he's a 7-time Hall of Famer. He retired suddenly this morning. He retired after a heart I think he had heart palpitations or he had a heart scare where he said he never wants to have that feeling again, and he panicked. It scared the shit out of him. Realistically, he just retired because he's like, I need to take care of my health. He had a heart scare, I think last night, and yeah, he retired over it. And anyone who watches basketball, they know who Lamarcus Aldridge is. He was a free agent, not a free agent. He was a buyout. I think
he was a buyout. Right.
They released him. The Spurs released him, and the net. I honestly kind of wanted the Sixers to pick him up as a backup, but
he wasn't old either, right? He was about 34, 35 or something, or a little older.
Yeah, 34, 35 is his age range. Yeah, he's been around. He's 7-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. He retired kind of young, I mean, he wasn't really like that old, but it's because of
it's not really that old. He's played 15 years, so I mean, he's been around. He's been in the league 15.
But he retired. I don't know. I do see it though. Yeah. Well, Yahoo Sports got an article. Lamarcus Aldridge. Yeah, Aldridge retires from NBA after experiencing irregular heartbeat during game. Yeah. Well, dude. Again, speaking of that, going back a little to the whole thing we spoke about with the health and all that, with singers, rappers, entertainers, fighters, sports guys, you need your health. If you feel like you're not really where you used to be, maybe it's time to to call it a career, especially in a sport like basketball. Pretty fast-paced sport, pretty tough. I mean, there's a lot of a lot of training.
So basically, I just want to say, I think he's doing the right thing here. Take care of your health, and prayers to Lamarcus Aldridge and his family. I hope he takes care of himself, and I hope everything's okay. I mean, honestly, he gave his dedication to basketball over 15 years. So now the least he can do is give his dedication to his family and just take it easy and chill. And I'm not just saying that as a Sixers fan, because obviously now as the Sixers, he was going to be somewhat of a force for us if we played Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, obviously, he's not Kevin Durant or James Harden or Kyrie Irving, but he was still going to be a piece. So now, the Sixers don't have to deal with that. So I'm actually kind of curious to see what Brooklyn kind of does there. If they go with the young guy Claxton, they give him more minutes going forward, because we all also saw last night the Philadelphia 76ers played the Brooklyn rested. Now, Brooklyn rested their starters, primarily all of them. Aldridge didn't play last night. Blake Griffin didn't play last night. James Harden is still dealing with a hamstring. He didn't play last night. Kevin Durant sat last night. Kyrie Irving played. Kyrie Irving had, I believe,
it was, I want to say 34 points Kyrie Irving had last night. So he had a good game. Unfortunately, he got his. It is very hard to stop Kyrie Irving. But the thing that worried me a little bit about the Sixers was because they had a 20-something point lead. And then Brooklyn was able to cut that lead to like 5 or 6. Yeah, and they were missing Kevin Durant and James Harden, which worries me a little bit because I'm like, really? We had all of our starters, and the only person who wasn't playing was Dwight Howard. But the only thing was we had kind of sat our starters at that point because I think they thought the game was over. I think Brooklyn's bench just kind of came back on us. But ultimately going forward, I think the Sixers are going to be a good matchup for Brooklyn in the playoffs. Right now, we're 1 game up on the 1 seed. We're in first place in the Eastern Conference. So I think it's critical that the Sixers get that 1 seed, whereas I don't think Brooklyn's too worried about it, to be honest. The Sixers, I think, need to get the number 1 seed in the East because if they do, home court advantage goes throughout Philadelphia. It goes throughout the Wells Fargo Center. And I think that that's big because the Sixers play so well at home. But in basketball, that's mainly what I have. Lamarcus Aldridge, he had an irregular heartbeat, had a scare. The breaking news was this morning, and yeah, he retired. So he's no longer an NBA basketball player. I don't see him coming back because that's something that's pretty serious. I don't see him coming out of retirement. I think he's done for good. But he's been a hell of a serviceable player, 7-time All-Star. And he's played with Portland, he's played with San Antonio, he's played with some squads. So hats off to Lamarcus Aldridge and his family. That's all I pretty much have for the NBA. It's nothing too crazy. We're winding down. Sixers have I think the Sixers have 17 games left in the season. So 17 games, they got to keep that 1 seed. They got a tough stretch coming up, starting actually tomorrow. Well, it was actually kind of starting. It was supposed to start last night, but Brooklyn starters were out. But starting tomorrow night, they start playing the Clippers. Then they go to Golden State comes here. And then we got Phoenix here. Phoenix number 2 team in the league right now. And then we got 2 back-to-back. Well, not 2 back-to-backs, but 2 out in Milwaukee. We play Milwaukee twice, so that's going to be interesting. It'll really tell us a lot what the Sixers are after I think those 5 games. So that's mainly what I have on the NBA. MLB, realistically, there's just not too much to talk about. The Phillies are 12 games in right now. They're 6-6. They're 500. A lot of people are they were riding them high. They were riding them high when they were 5-1. And now the Phillies are 1-5 in their last 6. So people are like, "Oh, I'm done." People are like starting to jump off the bandwagon. It's very, very early. It's only 12 games into the season, guys. Honestly, keep that same energy later on in the season. I'll be honest, baseball is probably the least sport that I watch out of the main 4. But realistically, like the Phillies are still in second place right now in the division. So the Mets are 5-3. They're 500. Like, just give it time. I think that the Phillies on paper are better because I think the bullpen was a little bit strengthened in the offseason. I think Bryce Harper needs to start hitting because he's making all that money. But honestly, it's too early. It's too early to start panicking. They're 6-6, second in the division. Yeah, give them time. It's 160 games, 162 games in a season. It's a long season, guys. So just play it by ear. The other one, NHL wise, there were a lot of big trades. The trade deadline just hit there were a lot of big trades. The Capitals picked up some solid pieces. I know the Flyers got rid of Gustafson. Yeah, they got him for a 7th. They gave him for a 7th round pick. He didn't even really have any playing time here anyway. Yeah. And they got rid of Michael Raffle too. I believe they got a 5th round for him. A 5th round. Raffle holds a little bit more personal value because he was here for a little bit. But the Flyers, I don't really know.
6-1 to the Capitals. Yeah, that was the last game the day ago. But no, go ahead.
The Flyers are just they're not just losing games. When they lose games, they lose big. I think they have been outscored by their opponents by 33 goals in total this season compared to their opponent, which is just pathetic. The Flyers,
yeah,
I don't blame anybody out there jumping off the Flyers bandwagon at this point because the playoffs are right around the corner. They're starting in a few weeks, and the Flyers are just
I don't even know how many points are out of a playoff spot at this point. They're actually playing right now. They're playing Pittsburgh. Let me actually pull that score up because I'm not watching that. I mean, the Flyers just haven't been much to, unfortunately, watch. They're losing 1-0 at the end of the second right now to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And honestly, if I look at the standings right now, the Flyers are 6 points out of a playoff spot, which is it's going to be a lot of ground to have to make up.
You know, the Flyers are a little behind right now, but I mean, if they could get like 2 nice wins, get like a little momentum back, a little confidence back, they could. It depends on what the schedule looks like. I mean, who are they playing? I mean, some of the tougher teams.
Yeah, they got tough teams. They see with the hockey. With hockey, they're playing all the same teams all season long. They play the same 4 or 5 teams all season. Sometimes they play the same team 3 games in a row because in COVID they're not traveling. There's no West Coast games in hockey. There's no West and East Coast teams playing each other. You don't play the West at all if you're in the East, and if you're in the West, you don't play the East at all. That's just how hockey's schedule was this year. But yeah, I don't even know if I want to see the Flyers make the playoffs. I mean, being realistic, because I think they'd be a first round elimination. Just spare us because if they make the playoffs and they lose in the first round, they might not make as many moves. I mean, honestly, I kind of think in some ways they got to blow the team up a little bit. And realistically, if they don't make the playoffs, that might be what they need to blow the team up.
Yeah. Damn. Man, I'm kind of
NHL.
I'm in the mood to play some hockey now. Like the NHL games from like the 2000s, hockey on PS2 or PS3 or something like that. I said I'm tempted to play one of those games because I remember how tough some of those games were, bro. Speaking of hockey and video games and and media and all that, but yeah. Anything else as far as NHL? I just said something. The prediction. What could go wrong Thursday morning as far as the Flyers for their next game? And I mean, basically, just we got to start coming back.
Yeah, the biggest trade I would say was Jacob Vrana to the Capitals. That was a big move. The Capitals, they might honestly look like they're going to win the Cup again this year. We'll see what happens there with Washington, but they look good. Do you have anything to add with NBA, MLB, NHL at all?
Just kind of been watching some of the Sixers games, and trying to follow up a little from the one podcast we had. We talked about their schedule and see possible anything from trade-offs to like some of the injuries. I mean, obviously we talked about the Embiid thing because we caught it live a few episodes ago. He's okay now. It looks he'll probably back. He's not back soon, correct? Embiid?
No, Embiid is back.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah, right. Because he said April. So actually, they said something about he'll be back by like the 10th or something like that. So it's the 14th today, the 15th. So yeah, he's been back. Other than that, yeah, like I said, just kind of be watching the Sixers a little, and that's it. We're trying to focus a little on other games. Hockey-wise, I haven't been watching too much. I mean, minus one game, I caught something. I was watching something online on the stick. It was a hockey game. I forgot who was playing. It wasn't the Flyers though, but could have been the Penguins. But yeah, I saw something, and that was it, bro. I mean, I really checked out, but I'm just kind of watching some reviews and some news here. It seems like they're hopeful for the Flyers, but like you said, it wasn't looking too good. We're probably not going to win much this year,
Yeah, the Flyers aren't much to watch, to be quite honest.
You feel they're not fun to watch, or they're not much?
They're not much to watch, man. They're just
is this what it is?
it's hard to explain it. But no, the Sixers are where my mind's at ultimately. I would say there was something in football too. What did I want to say?
Yeah, you want to cover anything on the NFL wise before we kind of slightly move on?
There was just one thing. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really going to talk NHL, NFL, but it might come back to Julian Edelman retired. So now the debate is he a Hall of Famer? No, he's not a Hall of Famer. And to anybody out there, let's talk about it because realistically, Hines Ward ain't even Hines Ward is not even in the NFL wide receiver Hall of Fame. People like Reggie Wayne still haven't made it, and people out there really think that Julian Edelman's a Hall of Famer. Now, I'm not going to deny that Julian Edelman is a solid wide receiver, but he's not a Hall of Famer. And people want to go by wins and rings. Yeah, he played in a solid system for a solid team with Tom Brady in Tom Brady's prime. And Tom Brady's prime. No, and I'm not going to lie. I think he has the second most playoff receiving yards, but he played in tons of playoff games with Brady in a solid system. Now, I'm not denying he's a solid wide receiver. I'm not hating at all, but realistically, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. So that's been a big talk, honestly. Retirement wise.
He retired. I mean, we'll see where he ranks. Definitely a good player, probably a top player, but not Hall of Famer. If he's not in the talks of Hall of Famer, that means that he had this time. He just hasn't really quite convinced enough to be in there. So yeah,
He's a Jeremy Maclin with playoff experience, realistically, because him and Jeremy Maclin, if you look at like their receiving yards and career wise, they're actually right there. So like they're similar in career wise, but nobody would label Jeremy Maclin, former Eagles wide receiver. Nobody would label Jeremy Maclin a Hall of Famer. So people are strictly going off of wins and what he's done in playoffs and in Super Bowl. But yeah, sorry, Julian. Sorry, Julian Edelman. You're not a Hall of Famer, but you know, solid player. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm saying. I mean, definitely. You know, when you're part of a good team like that, bro, like Julian was, you know, it's just, you know, he's a good player, and he came from like that time of the era. Definitely in some prime years. He retired now, so he's kind of like up that age. And Brady's is an example. You know, Tom Brady. You know, he's one of those guys that like he retired a little older, a little younger. He could go as a GOAT right now. He could get another season. He could have went as a GOAT the year before this year. You know, I mean, you know, but I mean, he went somewhere else and did more of a revolution in a way. You know, some people never left the team. I want to ask you real quick. Did Drew Brees, he didn't retire? Did he either say he did or not? That was the false rumor I heard.
No, he did retire.
Did retire. Right. Okay, I was right. He retired this past season. It just passed.
Yeah, he's retired. He's officially retired. Yep. He's done.
Retired. Because I remember he was a little under slight scrutiny, some BS, because he said some comments about, you know, like not respecting the flag, and it connected to, you know, people like, you know, the whole NFL, you know, the whole political thing, which I don't even get into it. But
yeah, that was before the season started last year.
Yeah, that was last year for you, exact. That was in COVID. August. Okay,
August. Yeah, it was in August.
Which wasn't the best press for him, but I mean, Drew Brees. I mean, minus that, again, I don't want to put politics in soccer. He's a great, you know, great player, and for sure, another, definitely one of the, better ones, in many years, but again,
yeah, we can do a political episode down the line or something where we talk politics. So I don't want to get too much into it here.
No, we could, yeah. I
use a certain way, but yeah,
I'm not worried about that at all. To be honest, I don't want to get into politics either. We could probably do one eventually, and we got to keep this fresh because he said we're not really a very controversial podcast. Maybe down the line we could. Apparently, I was really controversial.
Yeah, a politics episode doesn't necessarily have to be controversial. We can be fair and balanced as well.
Yeah, we can, but the people that watch, they're the ones, they always, chime in, sometimes, it could be the wrong way. Like they probably want to talk about one thing. You should try to keep it fair. I'm not going to show no preference, but yeah, we'll talk about that one too, definitely maybe an episode down the line. We have so many now.
Definitely.
So we're doing big things, but yeah, like I said, man, yeah, NFL, I mean, we're still kind of like, kind of pending some news and see how everything goes, when it's time for everything, from like, the draft, to the rumors, to preseason, to, some of like the teams kind of getting together. I'm excited for the season for the Eagles, but right now we're definitely focused on the Sixers. Myself personally, I'm also, watching some soccer with the Champions League a little on the clubs. The European Championship, the Euro, which was last year, is going to be this year because of COVID. So Euro 20 kept the name Euro 20. It's really 2021. So it's going to be this year. That's exciting. Other than that, I mean, kind of been watching the clubs. I'll be honest, bro, this few weeks has been very busy. I've been doing a lot of other things and behind the scene work, which has kind of not hindered me, but it hasn't really allowed me a lot of time to watch sports. So I've been watching a lot of soccer.
Right.
UFC, no combat sport, just some replay stuff, a few basketball games, and that's it. Not even. I mean, obviously there's no NFL, but no real, no hockey like that, no NHL, not really. So I've been a little behind, but yeah, that's kind of like what's going on. We think we covered a nice amount of sports,
sports and music covered.
Why
don't we move over to the entertainment side of it?
We will. Just want to say one thing real quick, UFC wise. I think Conor McGregor had called off the fight with Dustin Poirier a few days ago, and the fight's been back on. I think that's
okay.
The thing, and
cool,
I think it's going down TFC 264, I believe. So it's in a couple, maybe like in 2 months. It's coming up pretty fast. So, which is cool because I don't want to wait too long for that fight. I think that fight should be in June or July. That fight should happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, we could talk about that on the podcast too eventually.
For the Conor McGregor versus the third fight, the trilogy, definitely, it's gonna be a pretty big fight. So if you guys want to, yeah, we can do something. And
if you guys want to see an episode on that, let us know.
Yeah, let us know about some more entertainment stuff. Okay, so yeah, then So,
the entertainment side, I was mainly just going to talk about some like movies for 2021 that are kind of coming out. Do you have any movies in mind that you were thinking about? Did you see any movies that were coming out for this year, man?
I've been watching some movies, but mostly like some of the to be honest, not too many titles that I know. Mostly like some of like the shows and some of the movies they have like on a stick, but
I've heard good things about Godzilla and Kong that came out on March 31st. A lot of people I know that saw it said that was a pretty good movie. That came out already. It was March 31st, and the upcoming movie that's coming up in April. It's actually coming up next week. It's going to release. Mortal Kombat's releasing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. The Mortal Kombat one. That's one I'm actually kind of looking forward to. I was looking forward to Coming to America 2, and I got to see that one. Now that one, because at that point when it came out, like in late February, March, it wasn't really. Yeah, they came out like in March, I believe, or maybe February. I'm not sure, but the movie theaters weren't open. The movie theaters just reopened recently, right? Like some movie theaters, right? Like Like
Yeah,
20
AMC is open. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's coming out on April 23rd.
Well, if you want, bro, we can go watch it at AMC. Where is it? Isn't it an AMC up here? Like when we watched the Invisible Man.
Yeah. That's an AMC. They're all AMC's up this way. So there's a couple Regals and United Artists, but it's mainly AMC. I know another one that I really want to see, and like some people get tired of the series, but Fast and Furious 9, which is it's coming out on, I want to say June 24th, 25th, something like that. It's coming out end of June. I do want to see that. I'm a big Fast and Furious, honestly, a Fast and Furious buff. I love the series. I do think that some of them have become
Downplayed. A little too
yeah,
like to try to like find things. They probably like would have been better to keep it simple. They'd be a little over complicated, a little over diversified. I guess I don't know the word, but that's I guess the word. But like you, bro, I'm a huge fan, and I always take it back to the summer of 2001, almost 20 years ago when the first one came out, and the world was hooked. So they can take 2 years off, 3 years off. Yeah, did they do a lot of them? Sure, a couple spin-offs which I wasn't really huge into, but it ended up being good movies. Like Shab and Kolb or whatever it's called.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, that's actually a good one. I mean, because I like Jason Statham. He's great in the Expendable series as well as other movies. I like The Rock too, so it's like, all right. But I mean, it's keep it the way it is. And also the whole thing with the whole beat again, Tyrese and The Rock, Vin Diesel and Tyrese. I don't get involved in what's going on with the actors. I just want them to work together to bring the fans the best material and the best movies. But with Paul Walker being dead and having died, it's it's gonna be a little different. So they gotta make him, they can write him off or make him die in a movie somehow, or maybe just die and you never see it. But yeah, like I said, keep the kind of the legacy going a little, but maybe after this one, if they do, think about this, right? Check this out, Steve. Imagine they make 10 of these movies and that's it. After that, they retire for good. I mean, no
they
more.
might, to be honest, because Paul Walker is not here anymore. So it's like it's hard to.
So if this is 9, they could do one last one for 10. I mean, because unless it's to keep it to 9, it's a lot of movies. And if you count the one with with the Hobbs and Shaw, that's 10. I mean, but then again, that's kind of like a little spin-off. So it's not really. It's part of the series, but not exactly an official movie of the series. A little, a little derailed or whatever, but similar story. So if you make a 10th, like in a few years, like in 2 years from now, like maybe by 2023, because 2021 will be 20 years. So it makes sense. I mean, 20 years of the franchise that could possibly end it this way. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. But
yeah, and this one was supposed to come out last summer, but unfortunately, because of COVID, it had to get
back a little bit. Yeah, I mean, last year, a lot of movies came out last year, but a lot of movies came out early in the year. And then by the middle of the late year, a lot of movies, were coming out on streaming services. Although, was it true, though, that some places in the country, very select the movie theaters are open as recently, or I'm sorry, as early as like December that passed? Or that's not true? I heard it somewhere.
I'm not sure. To be quite honest with you, realistically here.
Yeah, I heard it like in some places in Cali, like some movie theaters, but like, again, very selected number of people. So it's kind of like very few movie theaters, and it wasn't like a full crowd, like not full capacity. Maybe like 40% on the house, crowd. So not a lot of people, probably like 14 people, 20 people. I heard some some movies are opening like before the new year, like December, like around right before Christmas, and then in January a little bit. But I don't know, bro. I mean, I'm not sure. So
end of August, they're doing the reboot classic of Candyman. That was supposed to be last summer as well. Candyman's August 27th. It says.
Yes, that's another one I want to watch.
Jordan Peele is taking the helm on this one. So it's
there's a Jordan Peele type movie coming out, bro. It's like with some kind of like those drawings, It's like almost like a Get Out type of movie, It's like
really
type of movie, but it's like a Jordan. It's like Jordan Peele. It's like with the people, paint the face and the mask and all that. Like used to do like in Dumbo with the racist accents and all that. You used to paint the pictures.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so like somebody that counts like that. So it's like a very creepy movie, but it's the dun, 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 the crazy music, and I believe if it's not Jordan Peele, it's a very Jordan Peele type movie, because it looks very similar, and it's a producer from like the movie, the guy from Get Out. So now speaking of movies, real quick, I'm actually watching Judas and the Black Messiah right now, bro, as we speak. I mean, I paused it, but look, hold on. See, I'm watching it right now. It's a good movie, bro. It's a very good movie. Look, it gets intense. Black Panther Party, bro. Like, what was going on in the 60s? It's crazy. The movie starts with this guy, he plays the Judas guy, the real person, right? But it's in a movie, of course. And then like in March of like 99, it's like spring of 99, and he's talking about, so tell us your activities that you did in the late 60s and 70s. Like, what did you do and how did it start? And he's like, well, I was doing this, and he was basically impersonating cops, and he gets caught up, and that's how he becomes the Judas. But the Black Judas and Black Messiah is a very good movie. I actually finished watching it, but I kind of had fall asleep a little earlier in the day, so I actually was watching it again, and then the podcast started, so I put it on hold, on pause.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a very good movie. I know. I mean, he's been out a little bit. Came out in February, I believe, but it's still a good movie. And again, I don't know if it's just on streaming. It possibly could be in some theaters, although it came out already. But with theaters be reopening recently, very recently, it's pretty cool to see that.
They're gonna have the new Space Jam is gonna be releasing in July with LeBron.
LeBron. It's gonna be in theaters. I mean, obviously, think about it. LeBron movie theaters. It's gonna sell. It's gonna rock, bro. Yeah.
We'll see. It's just it's a big anticipated movie. Spider-Man on No Way Home is coming out in December next year, almost near Christmas time. That's a highly anticipated movie for the year. Also, the Venom movie, Let There Be Carnage, will be coming out in September. Another big one, for any of those Marvel fans and any of those, superhero fans. Now, obviously, those are big movies. There's going to be the Halloween movie. It's called Halloween Kills, and that's coming out around Halloween next year. It's coming out in October. Another highly anticipated movie for horror fans. There's a lot of good movies that are going to be coming out. Bro, these are just the anticipated movies, though. These aren't like every movie. These are just movies that are these are highly anticipated ones. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. For me, I really want to see the Candyman movie. That one is a big one for me. So I'm excited.
Serious one.
When they also the other one I want to talk about is they are doing the last apparently it's going to be the last movie in the Purge series. It's going to be called The Forever Purge, and that comes out in July 9th. Yeah. The 5th and final series of The Purge.
A lot of movies, bro. It's a whole lot of movies, my man.
So there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. I'm excited because honestly, I actually just went and I saw a movie last week. And it was pretty good, to be honest. It was called Unholy. I saw it on Friday in Plymouth meeting, and it was good. It was my first time at the theater since we all went as a group last year. And what was it? March, right? Right before COVID.
It was the middle of March, so it's been a little over a year now. It's been like a year and a month. But no, it's good, man. Let me know if there's any good movies you want to watch. And, we'll catch something one of these days. I actually might do a movie recently. More upcoming. I might do something, myself. Well, I don't know nothing that's really good. It's like coming out like this month, like in April. I mean, April is always already like halfway there, so it's literally 15 more days. So we're in the middle of April. So next month is my birthday month. So I'll prepare something. I mean, I'm not sure what I could do this year, but I might do something for my birthday. So I'll let you know, because I mean it's getting closer. I gotta start thinking about that too. Not that I really care to celebrate this year. I might do something light, a dinner perhaps. Like to eat, But
that's what I did when I went out.
Matter of fact, let me see something real quick, bro. Let me see. Hang on a second. Let me see. Might as well actually. Let me see here. I want to see what date he falls on.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting.
My birthday falls on a Tuesday, so I don't know what I'm not sure I'm going to do it. I might do it the weekend before my birthday. I might actually do it for after, but.
Yeah, you might have to do something. It falls in the middle of the week, so you're going to have to figure out if you want to do it the week before, the week after.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. How do you do? Do you usually do it before or after?
Usually the week after.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I usually do the week after, but if it feels a Monday and it was like a Sunday thing, then, or it feels like on a Sunday, then I could do a Saturday, even the day before. I mean, that's different, but this is like on a Tuesday, like after, even Monday, I'll be like, I'll wait the whole week, because I'm not going to really realistically do a really big crowd, bro. I'll probably have like you and Maris and some other people like, from your group and your like crew of friends, and a few of my other friends, and maybe something like I was thinking like maybe like a hookah lounge somewhere downtown, because my birthday does fall on it's on May 25th, so it falls on a Tuesday, so probably on a weekend, like something cool out there, like a spot out there, if whatever's open. I gotta do some research, because last year I didn't do much as far as like go out. I just went out with my family, and we did like a little barbecue like by the lake, so it was actually pretty nice, pretty dope. So
right, yeah, for sure. It's gonna be interesting, man. 33, right?
I'll be 33, bro. Yeah, I'm getting up there slowly. Still in the early 30s, but time is definitely, starting to tick, so we got to do a lot of moves, bro. But like I said, we're making things happen behind the scenes, bro. I mean, it's everything takes time, So I'm not really, to me, age is like a number. I look at really like, like what people have done at a certain age, or what I could be and what I could possibly do. And I'm learning some things as I go, bro. I'm really, learning some stuff and meeting the right people in life and progressing like the way I should be. So I'm happy, but life's a journey, my friend. And Like I told you, I got a lot going on too. Because I mean, I might compete again soon, real soon. Like I'll talk about some stuff behind the scenes, which I don't mention a lot of stuff here. But yesterday I had a very important day, very good business meeting. I got a lot done yesterday. I feel like, and today was also a pretty good day like that. Today wasn't as eventful. I actually didn't go to the gym, but today was like a chill day. I'll probably do it tomorrow. And I told you, I spoke to a guy, so a couple of things that might happen. So we'll see. Actually, I got to reach out to some people, bro, and do a few things. I do want to say something right before we leave the entertainment one and we kind of get to the closing end, statements and all that for entertainment. I don't know if you heard, but did you see the whole thing with speaking of LeBron and the guys and company, all the ball players and Steph Curry and them. Kevin Durant, bro. Kevin Durant was going at it with Michael Rappaport. Did you hear about that? You heard something about that, right?
Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. That was just a whole.
Yeah, it was some bullshit. We don't got to elaborate too much on it, but I was like, wow, it was. He even posted about it. Like, why would he post it? Say you ruined it? Like, I trusted you with great friendship, and you ruined it all. I was like, damn.
They're both clowns realistically, because my point of view on it is Michael Rappaport's a clown to say I'm gonna sue you and file a lawsuit, but Kevin Durant also is a clown for telling Michael Rappaport that he's gonna fight him. Like, dude, you're one of the faces of the NBA. Can you imagine if LeBron James said that? What the hell would happen? Kevin Durant is he's immature as hell, dude. And we saw even at the Sixers game last night. He's like, the the crowd started yelling, "KD sucks." He's such a hateable character, man. I like a hateable player, because like even they were saying that on Sixers sports radio earlier today. He's just such a hateable player. It's the way, it's that look on his face, man. It's just
he does.
I don't know, man.
I like KD, bro, but I see what you say. I can agree with that too. I'm not gonna, I'm not KP.
Ever since the burner account stuff, man, when he had a burner account where he commented and was defending himself to young kids on Twitter. It's just like, dude, you're a clown, bro.
What did he do, bro?
Yeah, he got caught. He had burner accounts apparently defending himself. You know how people say, yo, KD did this and KD did that. You know how how people will badmouth athletes and then there's other people that'll stick up for them.
Yeah.
He had a burner account years ago. So he must have had accounts that were fake accounts that were like him typing and defending himself. Well, he slipped up and commented something in a third party from his own Twitter account. That's how he got caught. He wrote, "Okay, somebody said Kevin Durant's a clown for leaving OKC," and he's like, "I'll read you the exact tweet that he tweeted back." And it was,
you know what, I heard about it. Yeah,
he got caught.
This is wasn't like a year ago. When was this? Not long ago, right?
No, this was a little while ago.
This was a little while ago. Okay, no, because I think somebody brought it up though.
This was when he left the Thunder and went to the Warriors.
Somebody had brought that up, I believe. Recently, like, talking about his behavior. He hasn't been really, he's always been a little bit like a little bit of a show off in public and just kind of.
So before we close out this one, we can just say real quick. So it said, "Man, I respect the hell out of you, but give me one legitimate reason for leaving OKC other than getting a championship." And then Kevin Durant's actual account posted this. He didn't like the organization or playing for Billy Donovan. His roster wasn't that good. It was just him and Russ. And this was actually from KD's account. So he was talking about himself. He wrote he didn't like the organization. His roster was kind of trash. What the hell, dude? Like this is him speaking in the third party. He got caught.
But how did he get caught though? Like they kind of figured, there must be a KD. There must be,
Yeah, why is he talking about himself in the third person, man? Why is he writing that like a fan, like defending him?
No, I understand that, but here's the thing though. He had a third account. He had he had his main Twitter account and this is like 3 fake accounts. But he had a fake name in there. But they're probably thinking like, yo, how does any information nobody else knows? That's probably how they caught him. Like, oh, okay. Because if you have an account, if you're a celebrity, you have an account that you talk shit to, you troll the trolls back or whatever, you defend yourself, and you still gotta be like, you know what? I would have done it. You said I. You can't say I. You gotta say he, because you gotta pretend you're not who you are.
Yeah, how they caught him is because his actual account was the thing that posted that. It wasn't his burner account. It says Kevin Durant.
That's like I go see
it about himself, and it slipped up. He must have not been logged into his burner account. He was logged into his actual account when he posted it.
With too many accounts.
That's how they caught him.
Accounts. Wow.
That's how they caught him. They got busted. He wasn't logged into the right account when he posted that.
That's hilarious.
So they caught him like he had burner accounts, and I'm like, yo, that just shows how emotionally soft dude is.
He could definitely get there, I guess.
Emotionally soft.
He's definitely, he could get very emotionally there. I remember like some shit happened with him in the past, critics and all that. And then one time I think Rihanna said brick when he took a shot, and he actually made it. Remember that?
Yeah. What was the weakest move in NBA history? He joined the Golden State Warriors. I'm not even gonna get into that. It's just like
we're not gonna get into it. We'll save for another episode.
But we can hop to the final segment here because we are an hour and a half in. I know I kind of only wanted to do an hour to be honest, but we were talking about DMX for a little while. But mainly, I just want to kind of wrap up, I guess, with some finance news. It's not much to be quite honest.
I just want to kind of talk about today. Today we saw a big spike, mainly just from what I saw was the stocks, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones hit record highs. So this is basically how kind of piggybacking off of how COVID is people are getting vaccinated at this point, and a lot of mask mandates have ceased in a lot of states, as you know, Texas, Florida, a lot of them have ceased masks, like the need to wear a mask. Unfortunately, we live in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. We still have to wear masks when we go places. But
I mean, honestly, bro, I think we should probably still keep the mask. I don't personally like masks, but we should still keep it. It's too soon to be like no masks. But Texas and Florida, Texas and Florida, those two are, they're very looking forward with the rules.
Yeah, so the Dow Jones increased almost a whole percent today. It was 0.9%, which is big. It increased almost a whole percent. It was a record high today after retail sales have increased and jobless claims are an all-time low compared to like the last year. Yeah, so it's a lot of optimism right now in the stock market. Today was actually a big day. It was a good day, man. It was for the S&P 500 and the indexes. I don't know how much you know about the Dow Jones and about the S&P 500 and about NASDAQ, the three main indexes. Basically, they track the largest companies, but it looks like we're having some optimism on the stock market just from what we're seeing in terms of COVID restrictions lessening. So, obviously when that happens, obviously that's going to spike up, that's going to spike stocks. So basically what was caught in their eyes, it was like a 13%, it was like a 13.5% increase that they had seen in drink and food services over the last month since the end of March. So, and they also saw that retail store sales were up 18.1%. So people are starting to go out to stores more. Online shopping online shopping is always going to be big, but retail stores, 18.1%. And last year the services were down about 5%. So this is a big spike. They're honestly looking for a lot of optimism as we kind of go into the summer months. So stocks are increasing. See, I told people last year though, because people were like panicking, like when they had stocks in certain things, and like they, a lot of stocks dropped last year because COVID. They dropped, but you know what they say? They say, buy low and sell high. Why would you sell as soon as they drop? They're going to bounce back. So it's like, unless it's like if it's a big time company, a lot of times you can look at their financials, and if they weren't struggling before COVID hit, you can kind of figure that they're still going to be around. So I wouldn't sell. Actually, I bought a lot of stock last year when COVID hit. Specifically, one of them I can tell you, Discover, and then another one was Boeing for jets. I bought Boeing stock and I bought Discover Financial Services, Discover card. And both of those were big time profit boosters, because like you buy them real low and they had dropped significantly, and then they bounced back. So
you bought the card, you bought stocks, you're saying, or?
Yeah, I bought stocks in both of those. I bought them in a few others too. I'm not going to go through all of them, but those were two big ones for me. Boeing, like the jets, Boeing jets, and then and Discover Financial Services. But stocks are bouncing back now. So it's like, because stock market, like I said, Dow Jones was up today.
Dow Jones is good, bro.
And the S&P 500 was up big today as well.
Yeah, I just see right now that NASDAQ was actually doing pretty good. Like actually today, because I started to look for today, but the whole week.
NASDAQ too.
Yeah, losses in tech stock weighed on SP 500, NASDAQ led them to closer lower. Okay. The NASDAQ Composite Index closed at 13,857.84. Okay.
Which was big. Yeah, it's big, man.
Right, trading 138.26 points.
So today was a good day, man. We're seeing optimism. So anytime
it's getting better, but it's still kind of a lot,
No, it's trending upward, man, for sure. Like I think when the summer hits, man, it's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of sales.
But yeah, by June I want it to be like a little better, but we'll see what he kind of gets, from there. I mean,
this is gonna be a big surge compared, because you figure COVID hit in spring of last year. So when the summer came around last year, obviously many things were not open, many things were closed. This is gonna be the first big summer since COVID. So yeah. I am not I'm in finance, but I'm not. I don't work on Wall Street. I am not.
He plugs the work on Wall Street, man. So we need.
Yeah, so I don't work on Wall Street, but honestly, the whole thing.
I just want to work there, but I don't know much about it though.
In my personal opinion, I think we're going to see a big surge in the stock market this summer. I think things are going to go up, big. Just in terms of COVID slowing down. So we'll see. The stock market was doing phenomenal when Donald Trump was in office, obviously.
Fox, yeah. Oh yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was when Trump was in office.
Phenomenal. The best we had like ever seen it. But
also, you have to realize that COVID kind of fucked it up too, and he happened during Trump's like his last year in office. So it was just last year was too much, at once, bro. Even though COVID really started like in the very end of 2019, but in America, it didn't come
it was a pandemic. I mean, we went into a recession practically. It was a
recession. I mean, if you want to be technical, I don't use that word too much, but it kind of was though. I mean, because everything closed down, jobs were limited, businesses shut down for good forever, bro. So I mean, that's another thing to kind of deal with. So dealing with COVID is just beyond just like the health issues and all that, just the economy, the way the world works. You yourself said it, and even I said it. You said out of your mouth that, like, remember you said last year, if the country shuts down, man, America can be America. Maybe March we're talking about the shutdown. It lasted March to about, I would say, late June, July, and then it was the kind of like restricted, and then between like July to all the way to like November, late November, it was like slowly reopening, but still a lot of places closed, and then nothing really opened to January of this year, really, because in December everything kind of closed again. November, December. So
there was a second wave that they closed everything, but
just a month and a half, just like November to the beginning of January. So it wasn't that bad, but still,
yeah,
even one day could kill, in terms of like stock market, the stocks, what's going on, who's buying what, and also Bitcoin's been doing well, bro. So a lot of these, these apps and a lot of these, different,
Well, Bitcoin, it's tough though, man, because the only thing with Bitcoin, it's too much money. Like Bitcoin, unless you have a ton of money to invest, you're not going to make any money. You're going to make money, but it's going to be very, very minimum.
Yeah, you got to invest.
If you look at what Bitcoin's trading at right now, it's high as hell. I'll actually I have an app here. Let me see, Coinbase.
Yeah.
I'll pull up one of my cryptocurrency apps.
Cryptocurrency, yeah. If you have
I have some special I do own some cryptocurrency realistically, but I actually do believe it or not own a little bit of Bitcoin. I do own.
We got to do investments, bro.
Very, very. I don't make that much money off it though.
Yeah, so absolutely, it's a small way of income, bro.
Yeah, Bitcoin's at $63,000. So
your investment.
Give me a number. Say you invest money in Bitcoin. How much money would you invest? Just give me a number.
Right now, bro. Shit, I say I don't even got it like that, bro, to really invest big time. But I don't know. I mean, I go as small as I can, bro. I don't know, $100 or whatever. I don't even know how much can you start.
So Bitcoin. If Bitcoin went from $30,000 to $60,000, you would make $200,000.
Let's just say like 30,000, I guess, in that case. If you're for 30 to 60,000, I'll probably go like the minimum. No, you're right though. If you don't have some kind of like money, like if you have like like fuck you money, you'll be okay. But even if you have like let's just say like you're kind of looking like 45,000 plus you have a couple, another 10,000, 10 stacks, say somewhere, you can mess around a little on Bitcoin, and do a little, I mean, it's
man.
But I was talking about people again. The person I'm talking about, it's like celebrities. Apparently Nas, speaking of music, he's close to becoming a billionaire because of the Bitcoin. He's been doing a lot of cryptocurrencies, But a lot of guys are talking about it. I follow a guy on IG that talks about this, bro. I follow him through a girl that I'm cool with, so I started following him. And yeah, man, this guy, bro, he talks about generational wealth and all that. I even posted a picture. It was just like a little tribute thing. It was actually Tamika Mallory, and she talked about financial freedom. It was actually one of the videos that I posted on my IG, one of the stories when we did our promo for our podcast. So yeah, it was deep. It was pretty cool, bro. So yeah, bro, the market is looking kind of good, man. So we should definitely. I think you should talk about a little about the market. Maybe do a small mini show, like a 20-minute thing one of these days if you have time. And talk about it a little. It'll be kind of.
Why don't we sit down and we'll get to talking about the stock market, investing and stuff like that, man. We can talk about a lot of different things. But I definitely want everybody to know that we are going to have a personal finance segment coming up in the books. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about savings. We're going to talk about the importance of credit. We'll talk about how credit works. We'll talk about investing. We'll talk about crypto. Standard investing, stocks, ETFs, index funds. We'll talk about, just building wealth for the future. We'll talk about real estate. And for anyone who's looking at real estate right now, it's a seller's market. So
buy property. Yep. Every property.
It's a seller's market right now. So for sure. But
marketing.
Yeah, real estate. Yeah, real estate investing, big time. If you can do it.
That's a big one. That's one of the big ones because we do some real estate. I've done some too, so we're both a little familiar. And you've done a whole course, so that'll be a great one. Yo, you know what? We talked to Anil and bring him in for a podcast. We can even get him one of these because he does a home inspection. He's actually just finishing up. He's studying for that. So, that'll be good to, again, he can talk about it when he comes on an episode, but you're good to kind of have him one of these days, And he's coming in May, so, we'll be okay. And then my friend Danielle Harrison, I spoke to her earlier, reached out to her. She actually might be coming sometime in May. She's a chef, so that's going to be a really good episode. Could be about food, but we can talk about some of our favorite stuff. Obviously, I could bring in, my boy, my homie, my brother Peter, Pete, he could come in for one of those, he's a big time chef. He has Dump and Roll, one of those, good food trucks and, so good food company, wants to start a restaurant and all. So we can have a whole one. we can even do it on Restaurant Week. I'm not sure what that is, bro. We can do a whole podcast with one of those. That'd be great. And Danielle will be the perfect person to talk about this. So,
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Restaurant Week is. Let me see when Restaurant Week is this year. Let's see when Restaurant Week is. Let's see.
Okay.
Now, Restaurant Week. Did it already pass?
It probably did. It might be in March.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was end of February, beginning of March.
Damn, see, we just missed it. It's all cool. I mean, maybe next year, or maybe if there's another something coming up, we could mention that. But no, I think we're good on that. Like I said, I will definitely figure out what's up. And only thing, and I talked to you about this behind the scenes. We'll talk about the next episode because we got a topic set up, so we can kind of finalize that. But I already got the dude. He said he's good to go. So if anything was to change, we could get somebody else, and then we'll have your friend Candace as well. Bring her on board maybe the next week, which will be 4/29. That'll be April 29th, which means April 20th is this upcoming weekend. All the stoners are going to unite April 20th.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'll be next week and beginning of next week for sure.
That's the thing about that. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I guess hit me up. Maybe you can perhaps link up during the week because this weekend's gonna be pretty busy for me, and I'll try to get a lot done. And I'll definitely talk to you about some stuff going on too. Like I said, I got some job offers. Some moves. I make. I definitely could use because our podcast will correlate and obviously will be influenced a lot, or not just influenced, but you'll again connect to correlate to a lot what's going on in my life as well as you because we're the founders, the co-founders. So. Some big moves that we make, bro, we could talk about it here and possibly bring other guys in, for like guests and all that and start new projects. And, we'll keep doing some nice episodes, as we go,
Yeah, man. All right, man. So yes, sir. So we're going like an hour and 45 minutes here. So I think I'm going to kind of just wrap this up here in like 2 minutes and just kind of,
Did you want to do anything before
I think we touched on that. We touched on music, touched on entertainment, touched on sports, touched on finances. So we touched on a lot of stuff. So we went over our time here. So honestly, do you have any just like quick like little 60-second comments before we kind of close out here?
That'll be very quickly, again, 50 seconds or 60 seconds. So just shout out to some of our viewers watching everything and everybody out there doing their thing, also some YouTubers. It's fun. I didn't mention this earlier, and this is quick. My son, the general, made a song about a YouTuber, dissing the YouTuber. And I know it is, but I don't want to say, but they know. And I think everybody on YouTube, they think to know who it is, and the person that they think about is the one that kind of responded. So it was a little beef there, but nothing serious, just again, small songs going on, And I also heard that Eminem is actually doing some big numbers in the UK, bro. So I actually want to get the new. I think Eminem might have some kind of new music dropping in. I want to tune into that. Also, when I see you next time, bro, we could possibly talk about going to the beach. That's just kind of want to say about before I wrap it up. I think me and you could do like the short in late April, May, just maybe for like a little couple hours thing. It doesn't have to be wild. It could be like shorter than that, but maybe some of our friends, we can set something up and we can also figure out some plans that way.
Yeah. The next couple weekends will be tough because just my schedule wise, but eventually, we can definitely get there.
I'm thinking more like maybe like middle of May, even because if you think about it, April's already almost out the door, so I just gotta do a few things this week, man. We'll talk. We'll talk behind the scenes, man. Definitely gotta focus on the channel a little bit and a few other things. I told you I got some plans set up. Yeah, man, I think I'm good to go. It was a great episode. We talked about a lot. It was supposed to be like an hour, but it went like an hour and like 45 minutes. But it was a good episode. It was a lot to talk about, to cover in a short span of time. So, one thing I do want to say though, before I forgot to say this, I might have somebody from the West Coast, so we might have to do one for Pacific time. We never done this before, so that could be a new one. He said if he's like an hour, he said, what can we talk about? And he's a yoga instructor, so he's a very interesting person, a very good person for a podcast. He also does a podcast, so he might come, but he's a Pacific time. So we figure out the time, boom, 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 and we get it in, okay?
We may have to go on later then for that one. Yeah, for sure.
Well, for Philly, yeah, but he's Pacific time, so if it's 7 there, it could be like 10 here, or maybe 9 here.
Later here, yep.
So
exactly.
Go ahead, bro. Finish up your closing statements, and the shout out to anything else, because it's almost like 9 minutes.
So the shout outs, obviously just rest in peace to DMX, obviously, as we talked in this one. Very, very sad situation there. But and also just want to give a shout out to the 3 guys that were on last week with us. Dylan, my brother, Marius, and Thomas. Thanks for coming on, guys. I think it was a solid collab last week with the WrestleMania special edition episode. So just thank you guys for coming on. And as I kind of just wrap up here, just thank you guys, as I said, for watching our content, just collabing, just, supporting us along the way. Ultimately, comment down below. We want to hear your feedback. We want to hear your input. That's the one thing is, we could definitely use more comments and more input, because that's the main thing that's going to allow us to get better. So if you see something you like, please comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you think we can improve somewhere, or you want to see something in some future episodes, please let us know. Because as I said, without you guys, this obviously does not work. So, we appreciate the loyal supporters from day one and the new supporters. And we have a lot of good stuff coming. And just chime in. Let us know if you want to be on future episodes. Send us a DM and just let us know. Me and George will get back to you as fast as we possibly can. I'm a pretty quick replier when it comes to business stuff. So I usually handle that type of stuff real quick.
Definitely. Same here, man. Like I said, shout out to our viewers, to everybody, and of course, Dylan, Tom, and Mary from last week, and some of our previous, guests. Appreciate the support and all that. Definitely reach out to us. And again, me and Steve will be talking, and, just definitely, we're not just saying this. Obviously, it was a big episode. It's 30, so it kind of means something to us. But we're not saying this. It's going to be some good things to look out for. So we're not just, capping, BSing, guys. Trust me, definitely, me and Steve are doing some stuff behind the scenes. Please interact with us a little. And some of our friends that we actually know a little more, like a little more, we're closer to and might know a little more, like in, out there in everyday life, or we met. Definitely, when we see you guys, or DM us as well. Whether you come in an episode or not, if you have something to say, or kind of point out, or you kind of give us an idea, but don't necessarily be camera or even an audio. That's cool. You can kind of we'll even give you credit, for something, whether it's like an article show us or something you guys will talk about. And if you don't want your name to be, mentioned or credit, it's fine too. Again, we respect your privacy, but we'd love to have our guys in here, especially people that are, serious, all the guys and girls, So yeah, I mean, it's been a fun, man. It's been a very good episode, definitely a good week as well. Kind of tough, unfortunately, last week with the whole thing with DMX and so much going on in the world, it was a little sad moment, but we got to carry on and, do what we got to do. And we'll have more good episodes and, keep everything alive, keep the cult going, keep the momentum going. So, I think I'm good to go, bro. I think I kind of mentioned everything. You're good too, right? I mean, should we
yeah, we can wrap it up here, man. I'm good with it.
Sounds good, man. 920, perfectly. All right, man. Good talking to you, man. It was a good episode. We'll talk a little later. I guess peace to everybody. And guys, thank you so much for watching us. It's been real. I'm GMac88, and this is my man
Steve Ushler, Ushman4503.
Right.
We are the Locked In Podcast.
You just watched the Locked In Podcast, episode 30. That's Steve and G show. It was a good one, man. Definitely. All right, man. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a great rest of the night. Happy early weekend. Just get with me, all right, man.
Yep, same to you, my friend. Happy early weekend to you as well. Have a great night. And to everyone that's watching, thank you for watching tonight. Be true and be you. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We look forward to collaborating with you and bringing you guys some more content next week.
All right.
Take care, guys.